Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, episode 174, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast from Affable Idiots. I'm Holden DePardo at a wonderful studio for the first time ever. This is very cool, with two guests in person and then Brent coming in over Skype. Matt, I kind of feel like this is your little studio to introduce here. So do you want to introduce yourself and kind of what's going on here?
Yeah, so this is the Vaulted Podcast Studio here in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Yeah, this is the studio that I've been talking about on Twitter for those of you who've been following along. Started a little venture here. If you live in the Rhode Island area or you're close enough where you feel like you want to drive here, come down and record something here.
We also have Dallas with us this week.
Hello. I'm just a guest again. The bridesmaid, always. This is not my studio. I'm just here to reap the rewards.
And so we're going to be going back and forth with the video between Holden and Dallas and I, but Brent is always on screen.
Always
and
on screen?
He's here as well, as you can see. The background is legit.
Yeah, he's in the corner.
He's just in the corner, yeah.
This is a nice studio, guys. Wow. I feel weird just being like a floating head no matter what camera you guys are on.
Brent, you're just like our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. You're always present, always around.
I know, I should be in like the top corner, just like looking down on you guys.
Brent, do you want to plug your stuff as well?
Hi, I'm Brent. I co-run the Untitled PlayStation podcast. I co-run Uncultured Opinions. Look out for that. We're starting a new brand here soon. Tease that. I stream on Twitch, PorkChop118YT, and I make videos at PorkChop118. So check that out on YouTube.
And you probably noticed that Chad's not here this week. Last week I forgot to mention Chad's not here this week or today. But he'll be back next week. So if you guys just like only listen to this for Chad, which how could I blame you guys? That he will be back next week. But until then, I'm also here with the dreamiest fan base of all time, joining us from all over the world right now. Every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, put us in your ears in your favorite podcast with your favorite podcast service, or put us in your eyes by searching for Respawn Aim Fire on YouTube. And if you want to watch us record it live, we're on twitch.tv/affability. It's every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, just like we're doing right now. Today's episode is brought to you by Affable Idiots, which we'll tell you about later on in the episode. That's it for housekeeping. We've got a pretty important episode this week. We're going to be talking, of course, about Epic versus kind of Google and Apple and all that kind of stuff happening. Talking about Series X as an official launch month, which is exciting. But that also comes with the news that Halo Infinite is being delayed. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about this week. Before we get to all that stuff, though, Dallas, you said you had a long list of games you've been playing this week. What have you been playing?
Let's see. So I'll start with the betas and the demos. I played Avengers beta with Matt last night. And we are, I think, both extremely excited to get hands-on with the full game when it releases. It's so much fun. The combat in that game is just a blast. I played the Tony Hawk demo, the 2-minute demo of the warehouse.
Wait, there's a 2-minute
demo?
Well, you could play a 2-minute, you could keep playing the 2 minutes over and over again.
Okay.
But you only have 2 minutes in the warehouse, and that's it.
Oh, I see.
Then
okay.
You
can't get too crazy.
Yeah, I saw someone Grub Snacks, Jeff Grubb on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
He got like 1 million points. So like, I think the best I did was like 75,000. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I'm pretty good at this game, I guess. And but yeah, you could keep playing it over and over again as long as you want. But just the one little ride is only 2 minutes long or whatever.
Did you watch his run, getting 1 million points?
Yeah. Well, I watched just that one. I guess he's got like that one trick he did the most points on.
Was he just manualing all around? Yeah, that's what it is.
I can't do that.
That's what it is.
I tried. I forgot. I forgot how to do it, and eventually I figured it out. But it's tough. It's tough to combo it with the manual all around the stage.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Did you ever play Tony Hawk's?
No, never. So you say manual, like he stick shift on his his skateboard? Is that what it is?
It's like the balancing act with the skateboard.
Oh, like grinding?
No,
you have to pull your back nose up.
There you go. Yeah,
Okay.
Brent's a skateboarder.
So you just
Okay.
go on 2 wheels,
Yeah.
basically.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
To link the tricks in the game, you can manual around instead of just because once you land the trick,
I see,
it,
okay.
like, stops the
It
combo.
continues the.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's how he got. Like he did a trick that was worth more points than I got in a whole run. So, yeah, it's awesome. The nostalgia of that game is just it just blew me away. I can't wait to get my hands on that too. It's gonna be so much fun.
It seems like it's a really good. I don't really know much about like that franchise, but it seems like it's a really built with care. It looks like it's built. With
Yeah, it looks. I mean, it looks beautiful. It was only that one map, but yeah, and it felt just like I remember it feeling. And I played that game for hours and hours and hours. So I can't wait to get my hands back on it. I think I'm going to lose a lot of time to that game.
A buddy of mine Snapchatted a video of him playing the quick demo.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine who hasn't played video games in years. Like he used to all the time with me in college and stuff, but like hasn't played in years, hasn't had one of the like newer consoles. He immediately from the 10-second snap was like, "Is that Tony Hawk?"
You know,
He's
right?
like, "Is that Tony Hawk?" He's like, "Is it back?" And like, we were like, "Yeah, man, you gotta check this out. It looks pretty cool."
It left a lot of impressions on everybody who played it. I would imagine. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome. What else did I play? I played a little bit of UFC 4, which came out yesterday. I got
Fun.
EA access, and I 10-hour demo of that game. Put about 3 hours in. Career mode seems pretty cool. I'm pretty excited to I'll probably pick it up because I played a lot of the career mode of UFC 3, which is a lot of fun. I just like knocking people out in that game. It's fun.
Is it better than WWE 2020?
Yes.
Okay,
A
good.
million times better. And it's got like a cool mode in it where you can
I
like
want UFC
street
4
fight.
because it has Eminem in it.
What'd you say? It's got
has
Eminem
Eminem.
in it? Really? Oh,
Yeah,
on the
his
soundtrack.
Godzilla songs in it.
On the soundtrack.
That would actually be really well. That would be Def Jam then, wouldn't it? If Eminem was there and they got rappers, that'd be Def. That's what Def Jam is. isn't
Yeah,
it? Okay.
yeah. Is he signed to Def Jam? Though?
I have no idea.
Right.
I know
Nah.
Def Jam exists as a brand and involves rappers fighting.
Right.
That's about all I know about Def Jam.
Yeah, it's got a cool like underground fight mode thing. It
Okay.
reminds me a lot of
Fight Club.
yeah, basically.
Stop talking about it.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. That's after the podcast. And then I played a bunch of Warzone, like I always do. I love that game. It's like it's just an addiction for me. It's like I'll stay up until 3:30 in the morning, literally playing like match after match because I just suck. Like I die and I'm like, fuck, I fucking motherfucker, sorry, just stop playing again.
the
Go right
word-
back, play again.
The word "suck" cannot be in the same sentence as Dallas playing.
Yeah, right, you're
Warzone.
too hard on
Yeah,
yourself.
No, no,
you're
no.
too hard on yourself.
I mean, if you watch fucking Nick Merckx for 10 hours a day like I do, and then you play, you're like, fuck, I suck at this game. But
That's like saying like I play basketball pretty good at it, but man, I just when I see Michael Jordan
Yeah,
playing,
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's so much better than me.
That's true, I guess.
That's just how
He's like
outdated
the
my
Mike Jordan.
knowledge is on sports. Michael Jordan was my first.
He's the best. He's the goat. And then I play a little bit of Ghost, which every time I play that game, man, I love it. Like I don't know why I stopped playing it. It's almost like I feel like I don't have enough time. Like I want to put more time into it, but instead of sitting down and just playing that, I play a bunch of other stuff too. And then it's like, oh, I should play Ghost. It's kind of late. I'll just play some more Warzone.
I can't start playing Ghost without knowing I'm going to be committing several hours. I just can't do like a mission and then back away.
Right.
I can't do that. It's too engrossing.
Yeah. It's like I never get bored playing that game, so it's weird that I like have put it off so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'll put off games that I get bored playing.
Yeah.
But every time I play, I'm like, oh, this is so much fun. And it's almost like I can't do anything in it because I'm having so much fun exploring, taking on the combat situations, you know, or liberating a camp. Like it's just taking pictures. It's just so much fun.
How many pictures did you say you took again? You took an insane amount of pictures. in that
I
game.
think last time we talked, I had like 1,400, but I must have more than that.
I don't even have 14 photos on my phone.
Did you go through and clean out all your like capture galleries, or do you keep them all?
Yeah, I have. I had to recently because I was having issues with my hard drives.
I would
Yeah,
assume- I would assume.
Yeah. So like I had some Black Ops 3, I guess, footage in there that I got rid of. That was like the last, like, the first
You'll
thing
probably
that's
get
on
rid
there.
of
So
Whenever I take
I have a
screenshots
lot
the
of
game-
Dallas's pictures saved on my computer.
They're dope, right? He does such a good job with it.
Yeah.
thanks, Brent.
I used them for like the spoiler cast background we haven't used yet, but they're
that's
dope.
Thanks.
Whenever I'm playing, like, especially on my Switch, I'll be like, "Oh, that shot or that one move I just did in Splatoon was so sick," and I'll screen cap it, and then I'll never ever go back.
No.
Do you go back and like look at the pictures?
So it's weird. Usually at the end of the night when I'm done playing, I'll go back and I'm like, oh, that
Reminisce.
was so cool. Like that was awesome. Remember that time? But I don't know why I do it, man. I really don't. Like it. So when I was deleting some of the older stuff that I had to free up some space, I definitely was looking through some of my older shots and stuff, and it was pretty cool. But like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's almost like I want to relive that moment again, so I take a picture of it, and then like I don't ever. So it's like really, really pointless. Completely fucking pointless. It's just wasting my time.
But it's one of the most popular features in so many games nowadays, though.
And I follow a lot of virtual photographers on my Twitter. So it's cool to see like everybody else's, shots and interpretations of battles and stuff like that. So I get involved in that. It's fun, and then every now and then I'll share some stuff and get linked in with there's some really popular accounts that actually have like an actual virtual photography magazine that they publish virtually every week.
So a virtual photographer is someone who takes pictures like within the video game, basically.
Yes, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, wow.
That's not my made up, but if I get paid for it, then I'm all for it. But
You can definitely get paid for seeing your photos. I don't know how you monetize that, but you definitely.
I guess there's one of the accounts I follow is like a professional screen grabber for like I think they do Ubisoft games.
That's
So
interesting.
That's like the ultimate niche. It's like, Mom, I'm going to be a photographer one day. No, you're not. Mom, I'll play video games as a career. No, you're not. You're like, fuck you, I'm going to do both.
yeah. So what did we? Oh, Fall Guys too. Plays Fall Guys. Got another crown.
Oh, guys, man.
Some beast.
I can't get no wins in that game.
Me
No?
too, bro.
You guys haven't got wins yet?
I'm crownless.
Oh,
Look
man.
at me. I'm crownless. That gorilla up there's got a crown.
Yeah, he's got the crown.
I have no crown.
Well, how many games have you played?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah. Like not. Here's the thing. First and second episodes, or what you want to call it, the mini games.
Yeah.
I'm finishing top 10,
Yeah.
probably top 5
Right,
every
right.
time.
Yeah.
I've gotten it down pat. I can't do hexagon.
I haven't
Can't do
even
it.
played that match yet.
I can't grab tails worth of
That's
shit.
the one. I got
Tails
2
gets me.
crowns
Yeah,
and
no.
both.
Right? Yeah, Brent. Yeah,
I-
fuck the tails.
I played that one
No,
twice
the
and I
tails
won
are
them both.
awful.
What'd you say, Brent?
The tails are awful.
It's
I hate
awful.
those mini games.
It's awful.
It's
The
like
only
so-
one that I can kind of get
Everyone
behind
else
is the
has
team
like
The Team
Mr.
Tail one.
Fantastic hands or something.
Yeah, the Team
and,
Tail
like,
one
I just can't.
is better, yeah.
So that one, but I love the I don't even know. I forget the names of them. I like the ones where you have to smash through the walls.
That one's a lot
I
of fun.
love it. You have to get what you do is you get behind you have to start in the back for
Right.
those.
Right.
And you let everybody else do the hard work for you, and then by the end, hopefully you're near the front.
Well, yeah. By the end, it gets so jumbled up though, and you know, if you're not in the middle of the pack, you get fucked. I think my favorite is the slime climb one. That one's fucking great, dude.
Slime
Which
Climber's
one's the
good.
Slime Climb one? I think I did that one. It sounds
It
familiar.
rises.
Yeah, it kind of goes on a zigzag back and forth, but there's all different obstacles and
Oh,
the
no, I haven't
slime
done that
rises.
one.
You must have played that. I think that's like the one that.
You probably didn't notice that the slime rises because it doesn't like you have to be way in the back in order to get.
Okay,
close.
maybe.
So it's got the-
I'm so good. I'm always like way far ahead. So.
It's got the ramp where the things come out the wall and push you off the side of it,
Yeah,
and then it's got the donut things that like in the slime, and then it's got the balls at the top that swing back and forth.
yeah. I remember. Okay, so that's the balls swing back and forth. That's the one that gets me because I can. Now I know exactly what we're talking about. I can get there, no problem, to the ball swinging back and forth. That is the hardest challenge of the entire game for
ball
me.
one?
I can never get past
That's
it.
the balls.
I think every time I've gone to that one, I lose. Every single time. So if you start off with that one, which happened pretty regularly, done.
Done,
Just like Brent,
really?
like couldn't even make it past the first
Yeah, I
one.
think that's the first one I always play. I think
Yeah, it's either
seems
that.
like that one's always the first one.
I'm trying to think what other ones would be. It's that one or it's the. What's
The-
the one where they
the
throw the
seesaw
fruit at
one,
you?
too.
Oh, the seesaw one too.
I play that one
yeah,
a lot too.
Seesaw one I've gotten pretty good at as well.
Yeah,
A lot
that
of people
one's-
don't like that
that
one.
one's
but I
kinda
kind of
easy,
like that
yeah,
one.
that
Yeah,
one's fine.
it's like
I don't
people
have
don't
any
understand the
problem.
strategy behind it.
Yeah,
There's-
The first time I did it, killed it. Absolutely crushed the seesaws. Every time after that, it's like, well, why am I falling down? I jumped at the right time and did what I was supposed to do.
yeah.
No.
That game's fucking great.
The-
Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one I think I hate the most is the memory game.
Oh yeah, fuck that
The
one.
memory game, yeah.
Why is that even in
memory
the
one-
game?
That one is just called conform.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
just,
just
just
follow the
conform to what
leader.
everyone else is doing. I don't even pay attention.
And there's so many people too. Like I'll catch myself playing where I will be like, I have no fucking idea where I'm going, and then I'll just follow a group, and they all doing the same thing
Yeah,
as me.
yeah.
And, they're just like, and we are like a group of like 20 of us just fall
Falling
straight
because
down.
nobody knows. Yep, I think that's it, basically. I don't know what else I've played. Probably something else, but I don't remember.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, I played
Destiny
lots of
2.
stuff.
Destiny 2.
I don't think I played Destiny 2 this week. I know you guys played it, Wednesday night, I think?
Thursday night,
Yeah,
didn't we?
Chad and I played a little bit, and Cozy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played. Yeah, Thursday, right? We played Thursday.
Was it
We did
Thursday?
some of the new event.
I wasn't there for game night this week, but I
Yeah,
think you
neither
guys
was
played
I.
Destiny.
I went out to
Okay.
dinner with my
Yeah.
wife.
We played some of the new men. It was good. That was very nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. Actually, her last Thursday was her birthday. That's why I missed a little bit. I think I missed Thursday too last week. I don't remember. But this week, my parents took us out to dinner too. So we went to the same place twice. Went to Camille's twice.
No, it's the best.
Oh, it's so fucking
The place
good.
is the best.
Chicken Francaise, dude. Oh
Be-
my God.
best on the hill.
That's
I think it's best
possible.
on the hill.
Yeah.
It's close.
Yep.
That and Venda.
That's big praise. There's a lot of great restaurants.
Yeah, there's a lot of good restaurants up there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's delicious. Best chicken Francaise I've ever had in my life.
it's good.
Fucking amazing.
Matt, what have you been playing?
So I played what we talked about. I played Fall Guys. I played Avengers with Dallas. I'm really enjoying Avengers. I think that game loop. We'll talk about this later.
Destiny.
I think that game loop is going to be fun, and I really enjoy it. I hope that the villains and other enemy types are a little more varied than what we're seeing in the beta or whatever they're calling it. But other than that, I really enjoy. There's only certain characters I really like playing with. I actually came around to Kamala Khan last night playing with Dallas. I didn't enjoy her at first. Now I do, and I love playing with Hulk and Thor. Is incredible.
Yeah, he seemed like the most fun of the ones I've seen.
Who, Thor?
Yeah, he seems like he's the most fun to play.
Thor-
So you only get to play with him for a little bit, though.
Yeah,
So,
a very small amount.
and I felt going into the pot where you unlock the 4 that they let you play with at the beginning, it seemed like Iron Man was probably my least favorite. But I think now that I've gotten to play with him more, I think he's my new favorite. Like
his like combos are so stylish.
Yeah, man. It's
Like,
just shooting the pulse laser
Yeah.
things. It's like it feels so fluid and like
It's good. It's good stuff. So I've been enjoying Avengers. It's good.
I have an opportunity this upcoming weekend to play it for free, right? Because I haven't pre-ordered it.
I thought it was this.
Yeah, that's this weekend.
So the open beta is this weekend. Okay.
So
Give
get
a little
home
more.
tonight, download it, and we'll all play together.
And then, like 3 nights ago, I'm like, I haven't downloaded it yet. I need to do that. I still haven't downloaded it yet. I'm more excited now that I've heard it's fun to play.
It's definitely fun to play, but like Matt said, the enemy variety might be the biggest hang-up.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they do. And it's not even the variety. I think it's just like the blandness and the genericness of them. It just doesn't, like, we did one cool mission where we fought this big robot thing. Like,
Yeah.
And it was,
It looked like a public event from Destiny. Like
Right.
One of those big tanks.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And it was fun, but it was kind of generic. Like,
I think they showed that in one of the trailers as well. Like
Probably,
that
yeah.
big, well, if there's not a lot of enemy variation, they
Right.
probably definitely showed it. In that trailer.
so who knows? You know, we won't know until we get the full game, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
I was telling Dallas I want them to make 1 million skins of every character.
Yeah.
Like I want them to not stop selling me skins. Like that's what's gonna keep me coming back for this game.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Making my character like 11 because in Destiny 2, it's like getting the
Right.
armor, getting the ornaments,
Get the shaders and
Yeah.
all that shit. Yeah.
I want all of it.
Make
That'll
them gather
be
cool.
E3 or whatever E3 equivalent is going forward. There will always be like an Avengers, like here's the new costumes
love
for the
it.
year kind
Give
of
it to
stuff.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely is going to be that. Brent, what have you been playing?
I'll let Holden talk about one of the things I've been playing, but moving on, I've been playing
yeah,
Ghost. I
Terraria.
finally stopped my break because I've been taking a break from it for a little bit, and I finally was like, all right, I'm gonna start platinuming it now. So I've been going through that a little bit, playing through all the Modern Warfare games again. I'm almost done with 2. I haven't played much. I played Fall Guys, but the one thing I have been playing I want to talk about is the Avengers beta, and I think I've been one of the biggest defenders of that game. So it kind of sucks that I'm conflicted on it, because I think the gameplay is kind of fun. Like I enjoy a lot of it, but there are so many things that just feel off to me that I'm kind of like, I want to beat the full game before I form a whole opinion. But I hope things get better because it's kind of fun, and I really like playing as Hulk. And I think that Hulk mission where you fight Abomination was really cool. But I think a lot of the enemy types do get kind of annoying, and I think you have to upgrade your skill tree a lot to make combat kind of flashy and fun. So I'm in for it. I'm still going to get it at launch, and I really want to play it because I love superheroes so much. But it feels weird to me, for sure. It's not this amazing game I was hoping it would be, yet, at least. I think when it comes out at launch, I might play through the story and really enjoy it. It sucks that my main, that I want to main, is dead, because I would main Cap hardcore.
I think so too.
I think that he's got to somehow make
Yeah.
a return back because
can't be
you play as him and you do
He probably
all
got
this stuff
captured.
with him,
Yeah.
and it was so satisfying to throw the shield
He was the best to play with in the opening. Like out of all the opening characters that let you play with, he was my favorite.
Right.
So hopefully,
Yeah, Cap
he's in the
was
game.
amazing.
Yeah.
He probably got captured or something. I doubt he's like actually.
That's you're gonna have to rescue him, or I was thinking maybe they have you play as him in like the past.
Yeah.
But I
Right.
don't know, which wouldn't make sense if you're playing like a shared world, multiplayer game.
If you went down on the Chimera, show me the body.
Right.
Yeah.
Show
Where's
me
the body?
Exactly.
Where's Osama bin Laden's body?
Show me, show me the body. This is what I've learned from Unsolved Mysteries. Show me the body.
Or they could do like what they did at the end of Endgame. Spoiler alert for Endgame, where there's like a new Captain America.
Yeah,
He'll learn
maybe
retires.
he's just giving the shield to.
Kamala Khan.
Kamala Khan.
You can like
Stretch it out.
I was-
stretch out the shield. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I was thinking about that a little bit. There's like data mine leaks for Avengers that suggest Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop. I mean, not Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Kate Bishop, and War Machine. I was thinking if any of you guys have played Injustice 2, how they do the premiere skins kind of thing, where it's like, in order to get Reverse Flash in the game, it's a skin for Flash, so he plays the same, but his voice is different and he looks completely different. And like maybe some of his, instead of having like red lightning, he'll have yellow lightning. I feel like they could do that in Avengers for like Iron Man. You'd have a skin for Iron Man that just turns him into War Machine with like new dialogue, but he plays the same.
Yeah.
That could be kind of cool for like a Captain America to make it like Bucky or Falcon or something.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd
you
be
play as Captain as one of those two. That'd be fucking sick.
Like you even started off as like the narrative is like starting off as the Winter Soldier and like
Yeah.
building from there. That'd be kind of cool.
I like that.
It has a lot of potential. The game could do so much cool shit,
Yeah.
but who the fuck knows?
Just I was telling Dallas, just walking around. I'm sure Brent, you agree too. Just walking around the Chimera and seeing like everybody else's like bunks, like that shit was dope.
Yeah, that's cool.
And if they let you clean it up and customize it,
Yeah.
like, that'd be so sick, man.
I also want to learn. I was telling Dallas too. Kamala Khan's bunk was obviously someone else's bunk at some point. I want to know whose it was. I want to find out.
Wasn't
I
Captain
think it was
America's?
Hawkeye's.
Was it well? Hawkeye has his own though. You see Clint Barton's.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. I forgot because she's in Hulk's. I thought because you can walk in Hulk.
I
Wait,
don't
no,
remember. I don't
hers
think I went
is
to
somewhere else.
I don't
Because
know,
the only one that lets you walk in is Hulk's, and then
Yeah,
Kamala's is somewhere else.
you could go into
That's
Bruce
what
Banner's
confused
and,
me.
Well,
and like check his computer or some shit.
You come out of hers, don't you? You
yeah,
start in
yeah.
there?
You start
Yeah.
in like a random. Oh no, wait.
I think that was hers. Like the one where like
Right.
there's like shit everywhere. It's just
Right.
like everything's covered in
Right.
blankets.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think the only reason they announced Hawkeye is because they had his bunk like on the Chimera,
that's probably true. Yeah.
so they had to be like, oh, Hawkeye's coming.
Oh, by the way, guys, Hawkeye too. Is he at launch?
No, he's afterwards.
He's
I think.
post-launch stuff?
I think he's at least. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah, he said they said it's their first post-launch hero.
right.
He's probably in the next month or so, I'd say.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I think we're gonna have a blast playing that game.
Brent
Definitely
also-
hype. If you guys get on later tonight, I'll definitely hop on.
I'm down.
that might hop on. Yeah.
What's daunting is playing the 3 hours before I can even do multiplayer. It's like a good
Yeah.
chunk of time.
3 hours?
It's a good hour or two.
Yeah, it's probably about an
Yeah,
hour.
yeah.
I'll probably
Okay.
power
That's-
through it in an hour.
Okay, that's not too bad. I thought it was like I was under the pressure. It was like 3 hours.
I think I did it a little over an hour, and then I
Okay.
was playing. Well, so I played a mission with Dallas,
Mhm.
and they made me do one on my own, right?
Yeah.
And then I went back with Dallas.
Wait, they made you play one on your own?
Yeah, because I was kind of like not cheesing it, but I was playing a mission that you probably should have done on your own or with other people. And
Right. Oh, okay.
I played with Dallas, and then the next one was like you can only do this one solo.
Chad and I had that problem last weekend. We were both at the pot where we thought we could start doing multiplayer, and
Yeah.
it seemed like I don't know why it worked. Maybe they patched it or something, but they wouldn't let us connect, and we had to play through that mission solo. But we were on chat together. We played through it, and then when I met up with Matt last night on it, it actually let me play as Hulk in his mission because it forces him to play the story as Kamala,
Yeah.
and I just kind of was like his sidekick as the Hulk. And then it made him play another mission as Kamala just by herself.
Yeah.
So,
That's confusing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there was
That's kind of what I was worried about when I heard about this game. Is like, where's the boundary? Where's like the distinction between single multiplayer?
Right.
It sounds kind of confusing.
I'm just putting on the blinders. Until,
Yeah, me too.
Until I get a really cool Hulk skin.
And it seemed like it was, I don't know, that mission only allowed one other companion.
Mhm.
So if you had one other player with you, they could play the other party. And then once it opened up all 4, it didn't. Then at that point, I think you could play multiplayer no matter what. Or you could play.
Yeah, it was kind of annoying. I was trying to play with some Discord friends, and it's like every time I beat a mission, I'm like, and they're like, oh no, you have to do this mission, and then this mission, and then a harm room, and then that, and then this, and it's kind of like
they force you to do the harm.
That's what it was, right? It made me do a harm room. That's what it was. Yep. Which I think the harm room was a dope idea.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hopefully they have different rooms.
Right. I wish it wasn't just like a bland room. I wish it was like the holodeck on the Enterprise, where you could like walk in and like make it anything.
Make it anything.
That would be
right.
awesome.
Yeah,
or it's
'cause
like
that's-
one of like the old X-Men training things. Like
Yes.
those were always cool.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
and that's yeah. That's them introducing you to the harm room. So yeah, you're gonna play that solo. Basically.
Yeah.
That's the solo mission.
Cool.
We skipped a game. That's game of the year contender.
Oh,
We need to
that's
talk
right.
about
I
this.
forgot
Oh
that
no!
was-
Oh no!
You guys gonna do me like
Before
that?
we get to that really quickly, though, Photo Rude Boy just texted in the chat. Hi, 6 Studio Space. So,
It's Joe. It's Joe Riccitelli. He's the other partner in this. One of the other partner. One of the 3.
he has personal experience in how sick the studio space
Joe,
is.
this
He
place
does,
is
yes.
sick.
He know, and he actually, it's not the temperature's not too bad now. I think it's
No,
because
it's
I'm a little
not,
bit calmer after.
Yeah,
all
Matt
this
was a little
shit.
worked up
I
trying
was
to
fucking
figure out how to get shit
sweating my
working.
ass off, but yeah, it feels a little better.
Yeah, no, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, totally good.
Except for I think I gotta rip some ass, but I don't want
We
to.
got it's a confined space. It's pretty tall ceilings. Maybe it'll rise.
Well,
Heat rises.
if I just leave the room, that's
You could
I'll
just-
be right back. That's what I'm doing.
We
Just,
gotta-
yeah.
There's a few more kinks to work out, but I think they were good.
Just put
Joe,
gloves
thank
on
you
when I
for
put my
saying
headphones back on after you do your thing.
Yes. So actually, I forgot there was actually. Did Brent finish his? I forget. I think we kind of like crossed here.
Yeah, we kind of crossed a little bit, yeah.
Brent, did you finish all your stuff?
Yeah, I'm done. I got one more that Holden's gonna talk
Yeah,
about.
I'll talk about that.
So you can
Okay.
you can talk about the best game that came out this year.
Oh man. Well, okay. So I'll preface this with. So the game we're going to be talking about is Fast and Furious Crossroads. But I'm going to
Game of
preface
the year
that with,
2020.
there's this other game that I've been playing. I didn't play this week. It's called Wreckfest. At $24 in the summer sale on PSN, if you're looking for a fun, like, it's not a sim. If you have arcade and sim driving game on a Spectrum, it leans more arcade, but you can still do some sim things. It is some of the best, like, just fun driving that I've ever played in a game. Like, really, like, straight up, that's it. Like, period. It's just, the damage is really, it's a demolition derby game, but you can also
Okay.
do races. So you can do, like, figure eights, where, like, you're crossing in the middle and smashing into each other. They have couch races where they're couches with motors in them.
Right.
And they're racing, and they're super hard. You can demolition, like, farm equipment. Like, everybody has a different piece of farm equipment. Another one is, like, ride-on lawnmower tractors.
Mm-hmm.
Super fun. Really good to drive. Fast and Furious Crossroads is everything opposite of that. It is. Listen, I have a whole. I'll bring up the fucking. I have my thing. I was gonna make a video. I don't even know if I'm gonna waste my time doing it.
So if anyone doesn't know, Matt is like the biggest Fast and Furious fan
That-
possible. So this game is made for you.
And that's what kills me. Is that this game should be made for people like me. I don't
should
care.
love this
Like,
game.
it should be made for people who love the movies, because people aren't gonna be like, oh, a new Fast and what is the Fast?
Yeah,
and
or a new
Furious?
racer
What is the
based on a
Fast
movie
and
series.
Furious? Yeah, I'm gonna try this video game. No, it should be a direct jump off of the movies. Like, it should star all the characters, which in some ways it does, I guess. Like, but it's the worst dialogue. It's so forced. You start off playing as Letty and Dom, and you can switch. And the whole like gist of the whole thing is when you're getting into the funnest parts of the game, you're fighting a pack of cars or like a train or like a big vehicle on a road, and you have your squad, and you can switch back and forth between the cars, and they all have different abilities. On paper, sounds
Dope.
like a great
Sounds like
idea.
fun. Hell
yeah.
You play as Dom and Letty for the first 15 minutes. You take down this. You don't even. The other thing is too, like you'll be playing, and like the tank will have like this much health left, like out of a bar this big, this much health left, and then all of a sudden you'll just go to a cutscene. You won. You did it. It's just like no, I didn't finish killing it. So then you switch to these two other characters that you don't. You, like they're new characters, and you spend way too much time with them, and not with the other characters. There's
Ooh.
no mentoring. It's like their whole other story. And the whole game is just driving to yellow checkpoints.
It's like the Lost. Wasn't it like a Lost game that followed like Nikki and Paulo for like a while?
Oh, I don't
Like,
know. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
it's the same kind of thing where it's like, why the fuck am I following these people I don't give a shit about? Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
There's at the end of every mission, there's a trophy screen that says you just got this trophy. On the screen is a splash screen, and then the trophy also pops. You know what I don't need? I don't need the screen to tell me I got the trophy. I see it. That's the whole point of the trophy thing.
That's so weird because I've never seen that before in any
And
game.
in a game that only takes 5 hours to complete, it's probably an hour in splash screens of trophies telling you got trophies.
Wow.
Jesus.
That's right, a 5-hour game. I said I put trophy screen.
This is a
screen,
$60
LOL.
game. It's $60.
It's a $60 game.
Okay.
I can't even recommend it at free. I joke about it. I can't even recommend it if it was free. Is summer sale or not? I mean,
I'm gonna pick it up for like $15. It looks decently fun.
$15 maybe if you just want to get a kick of out of how bad it is. But they ride this line of, and I can talk about it forever, so I'll be brief. But
No, please.
they
keep
ride
going.
they ride this line of arcade racer and also not that at all, where they put you on a road and like if you play Cruisin' USA,
Right.
a traditional
Cruisin's
arcade,
awesome.
so great, Outrun,
Nintendo game, by the way. Didn't know that until a little while ago. Nintendo game.
it's great games.
Yeah.
You are on the road and you can smash off the sides, like, but you're still going forward.
Yeah.
There are parts in this where it feels like you're on a rail, like following this thing, and then all of a sudden you'll hit a like trash can, and your car will turn all the way around, and you'll be in the opposite direction, and then all of a sudden it goes 5, 4, 3, it counts you down, and then you're out of the mission. Because the thing
Stop that shit again.
I was like, this is unreal. The front of the car feels like rock solid where you can't turn, and then as soon as you try and like go around a corner, the back end just spins out of the car. And then the other terrible sticking point that I
They
keep
all
getting
feel
from
the
this game, all the cars
He was driving
feel
it. I was
the
watching
same.
the stream, and he's driving a UPS truck. After he just got out of like a Mustang, he's like, "This feels exactly the fucking same."
It's
Like,
just slower.
Yeah.
It feels exactly the same. Like you start with a GTX, and then you drive a Skyline, and then you drive this like old taco van, and they all feel the same, and they're all cropped incorrectly. I have screenshots that I took on my PlayStation, but the car takes up more than half of the screen. You can't see anything. It's awful.
That's the worst part about racing games or car games, in my opinion. Driving games is the camera.
Yeah.
If you don't have the like
They
the
also like,
right view of the road in front of
Yeah.
you, like it's so difficult to
if
play.
you play
right?
Forza, they give you like 10 different. You
Camera.
cycle through like 10 different camera
Right.
angles. You can go high, low, middle, right behind it, inside the car, with the steering, without the steering wheel, just the hood, without the hood.
Yeah.
They give you everything. With this, is no views.
Nothing.
No. It's awful. I can't say more bad things. I mean, I can sit here and all.
Imagine this though. This was a delayed game, not for quality reasons, but because the movie got delayed. So like they
What-
could have delayed
what-
this even further into next year.
True.
So there's a photo mode. Dallas, you'd be happy to know this. There's a photo mode, but except when you go into photo mode, say you go off a jump, there's these little cameras that literally open world.
Yeah.
I say open world because it's not.
Do they say open world of the game?
No, they don't say open world in the game, but like there's some parts where it's open road, but then it's also like you go to a part and all of a sudden you can't go that way.
No, don't go that way.
So it looks like you can drive between these two houses, but you can't. So they have like these little yellow cameras, and usually it's a jump. So you hit it, and then it'll slow you down when you're in the air for you to press pause, go to photo mode, and get a nice photo. Except you cannot adjust the angle of the camera. You can only orbit the car. And when you orbit the car to the front and try to pick a picture of the car like coming at you, it cuts off half the car, and you can't see it at all. You can only do it from the side or the back, and the back is the worst view of the game. It's awful. What else do I have in here?
Don't forget.
Driving missions with nothing to do on the way to a checkpoint. It's like they'll have like these new characters just talk your ear off. I couldn't give a fuck about what they're saying, and then you get to the point, and then the mission's over.
So it's just
Next
a
mission.
dialogue.
Trophy pops. It's easy trophies, except for the 600 online missions you need to play. 600.
And he logged in online.
I tried to log in online,
Nobody's-
couldn't get a game.
nobody's
Tried
playing
twice for 10 minutes at a time, couldn't get a game. And then also on the, I think this is funny too. On the main menu, it says campaign or story, whatever the fuck it says. And then the next thing it says online. And on the top of it, it says new. Of course it's new. It launched with the game. The game is new. Why is the online mode new? This game is not anywhere else. Why isn't the story mode also like
New.
this new? It's so strange. It's so weird.
And this closed the Game Awards. This game.
Yeah.
So I just always just think back to that point. They closed the fucking Game Awards with the reveal of this.
I honestly like for another game I could probably be like, I could be like busting balls and joking around, but there's really like I'm just so disappointed in it. Like honestly.
As a brand, they totally could have made a high budget game that would have sold really well. Most likely. I mean, I think it would have been a risk still, but they totally could have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, how hard is it to make a fun driving game? Like,
It's
and put the characters people love in it, and fucking jump off bridges and blow up other cars and do cool shit.
They literally could have just copied a game like Spy Hunter.
Right.
They could have taken Spy Hunter and licensed that, or however that works. You can do that. You buy a game. You see these all the time. These type of clones.
Yeah.
Or an Outrun. You can do that as well.
Right.
You could do any of
Or
those.
an underground street or whatever. The fucking Need for Speed Underground. Like,
it's like weird. I think they felt like they needed to make an open world game, and they did not.
it doesn't
Yeah.
make
They
sense.
did not.
They also could have done a partnership with like Forza or GT or something like that and been like, hey,
Just
here's a
license
DLC
this
pack.
shit, right?
That, yeah.
Absolutely.
And have the good developers like handle it. Maybe do they have the original voice actors at least?
Yes, but it's like they recorded it's like they recorded without each other. All the dialogue,
really?
Which I think it would have benefited them to be in the same room. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like Dom says a line
COVID, man,
and it's just
COVID.
hanging out there. Yeah, I guess it's hanging out there in the air, and then all of a sudden Letty responds, and like you get a little of Tyrese, you get a little Roman, you get a little of like you talk about Tej. I haven't met him yet, but also it's like 3.5 hours into the game, or a 5-hour game, and I haven't seen him yet. So I don't think I've seen him. Han, no.
No.
Well, Han died in episode 7. That's why he's not.
But then like.
He's alive, though.
But also, like, here's another thing, too. Like, you're not going to put John Cena in your new video game?
Yeah.
With John Cena being in the movie? What are you doing?
Well, actually, that might have been smart on John Cena's
Please,
part,
I
too.
need John Cena.
What'd you say, Brent?
So please, I need John Cena.
I need,
I
like,
love
John
him so
Cena could save
much.
the game. It's trash.
I just don't understand why they wouldn't just take out those big cinematic shots and scenes in the movie and just let you play those. They just let you play the cool fucking stealing the fucking
safe.
Yeah, the safe thing.
That would've been cool.
Like,
Or how if you don't want to like focus around the new characters, how cool would it be if you ever played? I think it was Carbon. Need for Speed Carbon.
yeah.
Anyway, one of those games, you start as a street racer, a low street racer, and you work your way up and you go through different areas of the map. This might be underground as well. But
sounds like underground,
You go
yeah.
through one of the areas of the map and they have live motion cutscenes. How awesome would it have been to have like the guys from Fast and Furious like coach you up through
Right,
to
right.
eventually
Oh,
where
yeah.
you get
Yeah,
to LA and
man.
you're racing Dom. Like how awesome would that have been? I can't even.
They should
talk
have.
about
They
it.
should have reached out to you to make this fucking
I can't even talk about it. It's like, and if I don't like it, and I can find joy in almost
anything, right? Yeah.
who is going to like this game? It can't be anybody. Nobody can like this game. It's got 4 on Metacritic. It's generous.
They should have just made it like Need for Speed, honestly.
Yeah.
IGN gave it a 4, not a Metacritic 4 would be very low.
Yeah.
But maybe deserved. Anyway, that's what I've been playing.
Did you have anything else to add, Brent, before I share what we've been playing?
No, I'm good.
So Brent and I played Terraria. It was my first time being kind of coached through that game. I played it on my Vita a long time ago. It was probably about 2 hours we played. And I would say I'm not 100% convinced yet, but that might be because I died so often that it just it was hard to accomplish anything. But I saw a lot of it in terms of how the crafting works, like how to get the boss encounters, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna try it again next Friday with Brent, or next every time we can get together. And I want to do a ranger because Brent destroyed with his bow, absolutely destroyed. And for me, I was
Brett's a pro gamer.
He's a pro gamer. That's true. I'm not.
Pro Terraria gamer.
I was like, I'll do
I
melee.
mean, yeah,
I
that's
usually
the
do
only thing
melee
I'm
in
pro
games.
at.
And I found it really hard to dodge enemies and kind of get out of their way. And at a certain point, it kind of felt like I'm just going to die. That's just what's going to happen. Like, anytime I respawn, I'll try to get as close to Brent as I could, but I'll keep dying. There's one point...
Battlefront.
There was one point where Brent had gotten pretty far into the map, and he got a life crystal, which could give you extra health. And he's like, "I'll hold it for you, Holden. Don't worry. You just have to make it to me." And it took me 15 minutes to get to him. He wasn't he was pretty far, but not that far. I just kept dying over and over and over again. But I mean, it's a cool game. I think I get the comparisons between it and Minecraft just from the crafting mechanic, but it's more than that. It's more focused on the combat than Minecraft is.
Is the combat good?
I had a hard time with it, but I haven't used a bow yet, so I want
A
to.
hard time, as in it's not good.
Like I said, Holden, the thing with it is the beginning, and to all you guys, if you end up playing it, the beginning is rough. It really is, because you're given like annoying swords that barely do anything. So it seems like I understand where Holden's coming from, where it seems like he can't really dodge anything or like do anything else. But once you get farther into the game, you get so many weird swords. Like this one shoots swords out of it to where it goes all the way over there. Or this sword does this. This sword heat sinks enemies, or like you get things like a cloud in a bottle where you can do a double jumper. You get wings, you get rocket boots. You can do a bunch of things. You can like dodge and move over and like slide.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So there's a lot more to it. It's just at this point, that's why I did some grinding off stream, like I told you I was gonna do, because unless you're a fan of the game already, it can get really annoying to just have to like start out and do all the grinding, go through the caves and do all this. So I understand completely where you're coming from, but trust me, it gets the combat and the really cool equipment you get later on in the game makes it 10 times better. It's the only reason I really enjoy the game, because how much variety you do get. It just takes a little bit longer than it should to get it.
The dodging is good to hear that's coming, because I think that's my biggest thing right now is I wish I could dodge. I feel like I'd stand more of a chance. Like when we were fighting the boss, for example, like most of what I was doing was getting the boss away from you so you could shoot arrows at it. That was most of what my contribution was. But no, I'm definitely going to keep playing it. I'm going to give it 2 more sessions. At a minimum, 2 more sessions.
I enjoyed you guys' stream.
Yeah. It was a good time.
Yeah.
It was a fun time for sure. It was also my first time with mouse and keyboard. Like really playing a game mouse and keyboard.
No.
And I gotta say, I kind of get...
You like it?
Yeah, I mean, I still prefer a controller, I think.
Yeah.
But I get some more of the appeal of it. Like scrolling through menus, like there's a crafting menu you can go through, and I can just use the scroll wheel to go through it. That was kind of nice, actually.
Yeah.
But that's a small thing. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Do you have anything you want to add to Terraria, Brent?
I don't think so. It was kind of fun seeing chat get mad at you, like every time you would fall down. Into
It was like mad in like a loving way, though. I hope.
It was fun. I think by a couple more sessions, if you're not sold, I understand it. Like I said, after each session, I'll do a little bit to like prepare you to do some cool stuff, do some bosses, to get you interested. I'll understand after 2 more if you're just like, I've seen the good stuff and I don't care about it. But it definitely is a fun game if you give it a little bit of a chance and enjoy it.
It's definitely better when you're with someone as well. When I played on my own on my Vita, I didn't understand what I was doing. My sword only jabbed. Whereas like you gave me the wooden sword that could actually swipe, and that was really handy. So yeah, definitely it's been helpful.
Yeah, if you don't have an idea of where to go, the game gets it's not Minecraft. I think people play it, think it's Minecraft, and they're like, okay, I see the appeal, and you put it down. But it's not Minecraft at all. It's just that beginning part really does make you think it is, because it doesn't really tell you what it is until you take too long to fight the boss. It'll just spawn it. So like up until that point, it just makes you think like, oh, I'm just building, I'm just enjoying my life. Like, no, you need to be in the caverns, like preparing this boss, getting this item, finding all these crystals and swords and enemies and stuff like that. There's a lot of enemy variety besides just zombies once you get farther into the game.
Well, we will find out next week as we delve deeper into Terraria.
I'll go rip some out of there.
In the meantime, we have some other quests to go on this week. We're going to go into our quest log, starting with our fetch quests. First fetch quest here, actually, I'm going to hold off on this fetch quest because I want to get Matt's, Dallas's impression of it. So I'll skip this one for right now. But starting off with Bioshock 4 seemingly won't take place in Rapture or Columbia. Thank you, Wesley LeBlanc at IGN. So this is based on a job listing, which highly suggested that a new entry won't stray kind of far from the kind of Bioshock formula. It's going to have a lot of that on FPS combat, whereas where you quote have a high degree of player expression experimentation within a highly reactive world. So it sounds like you kind of choose how you want to approach situations, which is very much in that BioShock kind of vein. So that's good to hear. But they specifically say that they're like new world. Like you're not going to be. It sounds like you're not going to Rapture or Columbia, which I'm excited about. I'm very curious what they do with that.
I want to go
BioShock
back
kind of
to
style
Columbia.
game that's coming up is called Atomic Heart. It has a new story and next-gen console details for PS5 and Xbox Series X, according to Ryan McCaffrey at IGN. The trailer is here in the notes, but it's a game I recommend people look up. Have you seen the trailer for this?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
It looks kind of cool.
It looks very cool. Yeah.
Very unique landscapes. Like something I kind of feel like I haven't seen in games before. I'm intrigued to see more of that. So this is an interesting one here. Developers reportedly find cross-gen games, quote, painful to make. This is from Zermenicon at PlayStation Lifestyle. The quote comes from John Linneman, who is one of the heads at Digital Foundry, who knows his stuff when it comes to tech for sure. So this is a good source, I think. He said this on Twitter. He said, "One weird thing I've noticed lately is an aversion of, quote, next-gen exclusives, as if launching a game exclusively for a next-gen machine is anti-consumer. This is how it's worked before. Mario 64 didn't exist on Super NES, and it was a great thing. Business-wise, I fully understand the investments and desire to maximize potential customers. It's absolutely logical, but I don't feel like I don't feel going next-gen exclusive is somehow anti-consumer, and I'm baffled by the insistence of it." Then he's saying that he's in that kind of discussion. He's talking about how developers don't want to develop for the Jaguar CPU anymore. They really want to just go to the next gen and take advantage of that, and not have to work backwards because it's very difficult to go backwards. So I think this is something we'll kind of see the fruits of as we start seeing what actual kind of next gen kind of backported games to current gen look like. But I think if anyone I'm interested in that opinion from is definitely John Linneman, because he knows a lot about that stuff. Now that Dallas is back, this is the story I was sharing for Dallas here.
Oh, thanks.
Sam Fisher is coming to Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
Quote, well,
Is he really?
Yeah, he is. He's going to be called
That's
Zero, though.
sick.
He's not going to be referred to as Sam Fisher. I do love the opening quote from Logan Moore of DualShockers. This is what he said, the first line. "Well, it's official. Ubisoft is apparently dead set on bringing Sam Fisher to every one of its properties except for, Splinter Cell." Which is kind of true. I haven't played Splinter Cell
Well,
before,
hopefully
but
this means that, they're on the cusp of bringing him back.
they've been teasing that hardcore for so long.
How do you bring back this character in so many? Like, there's been a few different things they've talked about with Sam Fisher, but how do you just not? So I think they have to. They have to have something in the works.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
I can imagine like he's a good enough character to have in every single one of our games, but he's not good enough of a character to have his own game.
Right.
Like, we'll put
Hey,
Mario,
they
we'll
gave
put him in
that
Mario Kart,
Tom
we'll put him in
Clancy
like
mobile
Mario
game.
Party, we'll put him in Smash Bros. But like, we're not making more Mario games. Like, are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. Capcom is undecided about whether it'll charge $70 for next-gen games or not. They're basically just going to feel the market out and see how that plays out. Metro developer 4A purchased by Embracer Group, and this hints at multiplayer content. Embracer Group is they also own THQ Nordic as well. They were THQ Nordic, and they changed their name to Embracer, and then they own another company called THQ Nordic. It's confusing. THQ Nordic itself is just very confusing. But this is cool. I love Metro, so I'm excited that they kind of have hopefully a little more freedom. And
Think we're going to get a better Royale out of this?
that's what I was really hoping for. Like Fallout, when they said that's going to be Battle Royale, I'm like, perfect setting for Battle Royale. Not the best game for
mechanic,
it,
right?
but this I think could pull it off.
Yeah. I think it'd be dope. I'd play it.
Oh, absolutely. Like imagine, like, have you played Exodus, right? You guys
Yep.
played Exodus?
I played.
No, I played a little bit of
I
that.
played a little bit of it, not much.
The whole like crafting your backpack, you can kind of like
Yeah.
pull your backpack out and start crafting shit. Like, but knowing there's other people around, so you actually have to be careful. But that sounds like it'd be really thrilling. I'm excited about that. Something I am not excited about is, well, I'm excited that it didn't happen. EA shareholders say no to massive proposed raises for executives. Not a fan of the races. These are insane.
Yeah.
Andrew Wilson, CEO, would have received a pay increase from $18.3 million, which is like not even enough to feed his family. I
Right.
mean, like,
What's he going to do with 18.3 million?
exactly. He needs to
Needs at
bring it
least-
to 21.37
21,
million. Much more reasonable.
Yes. Yes.
But that's one of the smaller increases. Blake Jorgensen, the CFO, was set to jump from 9.41 million to 19.5 million per year. Lori, I
Jesus.
think it's Meal, is the CSO, would have also seen a $10 million raise, 6.95 million to 16.1 million, so a little under 10, but close enough. And finally, Kenneth Moss, the CTO, would have seen his $6.95 million salary shoot up to $14.2 million. None of the raises were approved.
Good. Maybe they'll make a better fucking hockey game next year.
Maybe they'll return EA Sports that's in the game to Madden.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
You need it.
To especially do this, though, during coronavirus. Like, a lot of people are losing their jobs and all that kind of stuff. But, like, I can't make it over the $18.3 million. I don't know what next year's going to hold.
I mean, sometimes when they go to Chipotle, they're like, you know what? I can't have the guacamole today. I gotta wait for my raise. It's coming. It's like in oh god, Christmas Vacation. Clark Griswold's waiting for that raise, and he gets in the Jelly of the Month club.
Yeah.
He's in his office playing with the pool, the model of the pool with the little diving board. And he gets in the Jelly of the Month club. This is like that. It's like, oh man, they denied it. I'm still making a shitload of money.
This last one here for the Fetch Quest log is a really good story, actually. So new research shows the positive impact of video games on young people's literacy. This is from Harry Slater at PC Games Insider. The National Literacy Trust surveyed 4,262 young people aged between 11 and 16 in the UK and found the following trends. First of all, 4,262 people is a great sample size. This is definitely a very, very valid study to be looking at. Oh, I'm not joking. That's a big sample size. 79% of those surveyed regularly read content about video games. Then 63% regularly write about games. The writing surprised me. Reading, but writing about them. That's I wonder what
they qualify. Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Is it Twitter? Does that count as like writing about video games?
I made a Facebook post about it.
Yeah. 58% showed interest in writing or making games in the future. 2/3 of parents believe video games / playing with friends online positively contributed to their child's mental health during lockdown. And then this is a cool one too. 2/3 of teenage gamers were able to create empathy with the player character, which is, I feel like that's one thing I've always liked about games is that it allows for empathy more than like books or TV shows or movies allow.
Sure.
So it's kind of cool to see that's actually now kind of scientifically backed, at least in this one study. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Like all that.
I'm
very
sure-
surprised with the writing.
Yeah, the writing one really surprised me too.
What'd you say, Brian?
I'm sure a lot of kids' literacy was helped by those books in Skyrim. I'm sure a lot of kids read those. I read too many of them.
I mean, for real though, I'm sure there were kids who like read through everything. Also, I bet too, like take my brother for example. My brother's obsessed with Hollow Knight, and he reads about the lore online and that kind of stuff. So like that's also kind of gotten him reading more too.
That's how it was with like Five Nights at Freddy's and Assassin's Creed.
Wait, there's Five Nights at Freddy's lore?
Dude, the Five Nights at Freddy's lore goes so deep, and I don't even have the time or like you don't have the brain complexity to understand the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. There is too much.
I'm not interested in that game at all because I don't like being scared. Also, those types of games give me anxiety. But like the gameplay of it. But man, I do believe that lore goes deep because they're about animatronics, right? Like these animatronics that come to life. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, they're about like kids that got unalived and put inside animatronic suits.
Yeah.
So there's a
Sounds
lot
like
of
Stephen
lore
King
possibilities. I don't play the games that much. I mean, I enjoy the games. I just don't physically play them a lot. But the lore, I love the lore so much.
That's what you don't hear very often. Like Anthem, I couldn't get to the game, but the lore for Anthem is so good.
The lore.
I'm sure people say that about Destiny.
Oh, definitely. I know Trevor is he knows he goes deep into that. He knows that. He tries to fill Chad and I in Dallas or whoever we're playing with in on what's going on.
Too much information.
Because all the three of us know how to do when we're playing is we throw orbs, we shoot things.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're just like, what do we do here?
I think
That's
mentioned the
Destiny.
character.
Basic shooting mechanics.
Whenever they mention a character's name in Destiny, it's like, oh yeah, there's this world.
Whenever someone says a name, still now, like other than like a couple in the tower, whenever they say go see this person, I'm like, where is that in the tower?
Yeah.
I'm like near the hangar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know his name. Is that Strike Dude? Is that the guy who gives me? So
Yeah,
Gambit
yeah,
Dude.
yeah.
Like which one is it?
Which one's under the stairs?
Yeah. We have one story for the Microsoft Quest log this week, but it's an important one. Microsoft announces November launch for Xbox Series X and Halo Infinite delay from Kyla Orland at Ars Technica. So Halo Infinite was pushed back to 2021 for multiple reasons, but they only specifically cited COVID as the reason.
Right.
Or the demo looked like shit that they showed off.
No, that wasn't that. It couldn't have been that.
Definitely.
That's impossible. No way. There was no backlash.
No, definitely.
Hey,
Everybody
that was
except for
probably an
Matt
early
loved it.
build, man. Come on.
Microsoft also chose to announce November as the Xbox Series X's launch month. That's cool, but I think the big news obviously is Halo. What do you guys think about the delay? Is it because you guys are more Halo fans than I am?
I'm not.
You're not. Oh, you're
I
not.
can't
I know
believe
Matt
that's
is.
about- yeah, that's what I mean. Everybody loved
I
that
love
stuff from
Halo.
Matt. Matt was the only one who was like, "Oh, I can't wait to play this. It looks so bad, Matt." Yeah, to me, good for them because I was telling Matt I think that game deserves to be a masterpiece. Should be a masterpiece. Let them take all the time that they need to make it like a masterpiece.
Brent, what do you think? What'd you say?
I said I love Halo.
Yeah, I love Halo too.
I-
I think. Yeah, go ahead, Brent.
Oh, I was just gonna say real quick, like I didn't think the game looked that bad. Like it probably was like a 6-month early demo, honestly. That the only thing they had running at that point, like I said last week. Honestly, though, like I'm not too upset about it being delayed. Honestly, the fact that they want this game to be playable for like 9 years or something like that, like that's what they want the Infinite in the title to be, is like a live service. It makes sense to be like, okay, delay it as much as you can to get it to the polish to where it can be enjoyed for up to like 8-9 years. So I mean, take as much time as they need. If they need to delay it like 2 years to see that vision, then I wouldn't be too upset. That'd be great.
It's always better to delay, especially like you get a good point with the 9 years thing. It's like especially if you need to start on such a strong footing.
Yeah, I didn't have any issues with the way it looked and the thing, and I know that people were like pulling the screen grabs or whatever. I've always been a person who like I love when games look pretty. I don't necessarily need them to look pretty. Like Crossroads would look shitty in 8-bit. Like it is what it is. So I'm fine with them pushing it. Like I think that that's the right move, and I also think that this gives them time because they shouldn't have showed it off. And I've said it a million times. They shouldn't have showed it off without multiplayer.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have given, like, they needed to give something in multiplayer. Even just talk about it, like, and show something. Tell us something. Give us, you know what multiplayer is going to be. So just give us something. Like, something, anything. So I think that needed to be there. So hopefully now, maybe, like, when they didn't say when they're pushing it too, right?
Just 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
So whenever they're ready to show us more, or maybe they don't. Maybe they just give us a date and they're like, boom, here it is. That's fine. This is a hot take, and I know that they said it, but I don't think we're gonna get the Series X in November.
So that's kind of where the next thing I was going to go for. So
sorry.
No. It's totally good. Let's go there. So this has sparked some opinion pieces suggesting that Sony and Microsoft should just delay the consoles out of 2020 to 2021. Mostly because there's really not that much next-gen content.
Right.
You kind of, already shared your thought there. Do you want to elaborate some more?
No, I think they're pushing it because Halo was there. Like that was it. Like,
Yeah.
There's no other reason. Like when they said multiplayer is going to be on Halo, it's going to be running at 120.
Yeah.
120 frames a second, and you can play it. Wait, they said you can play it at launch or wherever they did the announcement for.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's the reason. Now I didn't have a reason to get a Series X. That was the reason I got a Series X. If there's no Halo, I'm not getting one at launch.
Yeah. So do you feel that only though about like Series X, or you also feel about PS5? Like
No, so I think that PS5 is going to try to come out at launch. If there's a genuine issue with PS5 not being able to come out in November, I think that they're both just like playing chicken at this point. I think that they're both staring down like each other's headlights, like slamming, they're about to smash into each other. Because I think that if PS5 says they're pushing, I think Xbox immediately says they're also pushing, so they don't be left out. Because I don't think it would be embarrassing if PS5 pushed and still nobody bought a Series X.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah.
And that wouldn't happen the other way, personally, I think. If Xbox moves, a shitload of people are going to be buying a PS5 anyway. If it's the opposite, I don't think you see as many consoles move in that hypothetical situation where you could see it happen both ways. You know what I mean? I don't think you see as many move.
I definitely think that Series X is not going to start. I can't remember who said this. I heard this almost verbatim from someone else. I can't remember. I wish I could cite them, but they basically said, in a few years, we'll recognize the Series X as a really good console.
Sure.
At launch, because of that kind of cross-gen transition they're doing, like it's just not going to have that same, like, I think you're right, like, if PS5 goes, they don't, like, it's going to look really bad for them. Even though it really shouldn't, it will. Yeah.
It's not going to be great. Like, imagine you walk in, you can see them on shelves, no one's buying them.
Right.
Yeah. That's bad.
I mean, to me, if you're an Xbox gamer, you're probably gonna I think I was telling Matt, my cousin games exclusively on Xbox. He's gonna get one of those as soon as it launches, no matter what. Whether Halo launches with it or not. For people who are up in the air which system they wanted to pick up. I'm sure Halo not being there, a serious first-party game not being there, then maybe it pushes them towards PlayStation. But if third-party games run better on the Xbox and people want that, they're going to buy it, even if there's no Halo. So I don't see why they would push it back.
We'll talk about that. in a
Just
second, too.
fucking launch it when it's supposed to launch. Tell everybody, listen, if you want to play fucking Assassin's Creed Valhalla, this is the best place to play it. Get our fucking system.
Yeah.
Halo
Yeah,
will be there. Just be patient. But we'll see.
I'm with Dallas. Honestly, like I think I'm in some of the minority where I don't think they need to get pushed back. I think my main reason with the PS5, I want Miles Morales, but I am so tired of the PS4. I'm so tired of that hard drive. Like, just I can't load into anything without taking like 10 seconds. That's why I want next gen. I would be mad if they got delayed, not even because of the games. I think so. I think people get worked up too much in like launch titles and stuff like that because Halo's going to be there. Halo is going to be on the system at some point. I don't think it needs to be there directly at launch. The Series X is still going to be there. It's going to play every game that you have already.
Right.
So if
you could play
just
the
got
Halo collection.
Yeah. But if you just got like Assassin's Creed Valhalla or Cyberpunk or something, you're still chipping away at that. The Series X comes out, buy that, and then Cyberpunk won't look like 10 times better yet, but you'll still have like better load times or something like that, and it'll still will run. So it's like I don't think Halo not being there will really affect it. I think the only thing that would make it to where they need to push it back is if they can't manufacture the consoles. If not, then just release them because then it'll make game experiences 10 times better. Even if Miles Morales wasn't on PS5, because look at the launch for like the Xbox One and the PS4. The Xbox had like Rise and a couple games that not a lot of people cared about, and then Sony had like maybe Killzone and Infamous, which are good, but it's like were those really console sellers to begin with?
Right. Yeah. So if you run into that same situation this generation, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I don't know. I don't see them pushing back the release of the consoles just because of the game, and I don't think they should.
I don't think they should push them back. I think Matt brings a good point though of like the playing chicken. If they were going to, it has to be Xbox that does it, not Sony, because
I'm curious to see like what that would look like because I think
Right.
that if Sony pushed, Xbox would. I think if the reverse happened, Sony would be like absolutely not. We are going on November. Like, we are going in November.
For me, I wouldn't mind if they delayed though, because the more I think about getting a PS5, because that's when if I'm going to get one, I'm getting a PS5. Getting that this fall or this holiday, whatever. Why?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they did it. I just don't think they will.
No, but my point though is like, why would I want to get a PS5 at this point? I actually kind of leaning more towards now. Like, I think I might just delay for myself and just wait.
Yeah.
Because why? I don't know. Like, I didn't like Spider-Man that much. I can't imagine I'm gonna like love Miles Morales like way more. I'm sure it's gonna be a fine game.
Where are you gonna play Cyberpunk?
I'll play it on PS4, and then.
But if you could get it and you could have zero load time and maybe no texture pop,
I'll play it again. I'll play it again.
Yeah, But would that wouldn't even give you a little nudge to?
I mean, it's nice. It's absolutely nice. But is that the reason to spend $500 this year?
True.
I don't know yet.
Right.
And all year I've been thinking, like, I'm definitely buying a PS5, and we're getting closer to like whenever this pre-order might happen. That I'm just like,
Maybe not.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. The Switch is the only console I bought at launch. Only one, and it's because of ever. Yeah. And it's because of Breath of the Wild. I had the Wii U, but I'm like, no, but like I can play Breath of the Wild. I can take it around with me. There's a reason, like, to get it at launch that I couldn't have before. I'm not feeling that right now. Obviously, I'm going to buy one in the future, but I don't know. Like, I'm less convinced, and I'm less convinced.
I'm with you on that. I think that if I wasn't such a tech whore, like straight out, I'd be definitely with you on that. But because realistically, like, I don't need a Series X. I could play the games I want to play on my PC. Like Master Chief is now on my PC, and Games Pass is now on my PC, so I can play all those games on my PC.
Right.
I can do that.
You don't need an Xbox at all.
I don't need an Xbox at all. I don't need my Series X because I like it. I like to fucking waste my money on shit. but with PS5, like, definitely, I want to play Miles Morales. That's definitely. But if I didn't have Miles Morales, I could definitely like functionally like straight up, I wouldn't really have to jump to the next next console right away.
Yeah.
I still have so much that I could play on my PS4 that are just burning a hole in my hard drive. Sure. Like just waiting to be
Yeah,
played.
yeah. I don't need a new system with new games to play. I have plenty of
Yeah, exactly.
games I need to play.
It'll give me time to play Red Dead Redemption 2 and Sekiro again. So
Let's all be real. Nintendo's just going to drop the Switch Pro on like November 15th.
Dude, that'd be
Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I've basically, I think every piece of hardware that launched, I bought on launch day. Like, I can remember waiting in line for the 360 in front of Target in Smithfield all
The
night.
PS5 is
Target's
definitely
revealed?
going to be my first launch.
I did that for Wii at the Target in Smithfield. Yeah.
So, I'm usually the one who has to buy it day of, but you guys make a good point. Maybe I'll wait.
I'm not waiting. I just spun that real good for myself,
Yeah,
but I'm not waiting.
we'll see. I guess it all depends on how hard it is to get.
Series X, I'll wait.
Like, if I gotta, I'm obviously not gonna be paying any scalpers. Fuck that. But
Oh yeah, I won't do that either.
if I could get a pre-order in, we'll see.
Yeah, that's definitely
It all
a factor.
depends on how much it's gonna be, man.
Yeah.
Like, if it's
We'll find out.
if it's
hopefully soon.
$600 and all I get to do is play Miles Morales, maybe I'll wait.
Even
Yeah, I might wait on the Series X, but PS5, it's a necessity at this point. I need that PS5, and I will waste every dollar I have to get that at that point.
Are we going disc or discless? 'Cause
Discless,
I've come
100%.
to the discless side.
Yeah, I think I gotta go disc because I guess it all depends if backwards compatibility is hard, like, disc based. I don't know what they're gonna do with that. They haven't really.
And I gotta wait to see like the price and the hard drive and see if it all makes sense too. But I think I'm leaning no disc drive.
I guess if backwards compatibility, I'd be really surprised if it had to work off of a disc and you couldn't download things you had bought before.
Right.
But if you have a collection of PS4 discs,
That's the problem.
that's
Yeah.
you kind of have to at
But
that point. Yeah.
I don't really need that because if I really wanted to, if there's not like a significant upgrade to do it on your PS5, play that disc, I still have my PS4 that I could just play those games on. So maybe I'll go disc.
Right,
We'll,
right.
we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what they.
I'm definitely going disc. I have too many PS4 games and Blu-rays, and I don't have a 4K Blu-ray player yet, so...
Yeah, me too. I was gonna buy an X Series X or whatever, Xbox One X. I was gonna buy one of those for a 4K Blu-ray player, but I never did.
The One S does 4K Blu-ray as well, doesn't it?
I don't know. Does it? I don't know. I think Chad told me that it did,
I think it does. Yeah.
but it doesn't
I think
play
it is,
games
yeah.
from 4K.
No, it doesn't. I
Not
know it does like
natively.
Netflix and stuff like that in 4K.
Okay,
I know
so
it
maybe
can do
that's why I
that,
did
yeah.
buy the S.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
not-
that's
it's
what
not-
I told my wife. I don't
Whatever.
know.
Scale.
Yeah.
Scale up.
Scale up.
So we're talking about Sony. Let's jump into the Sony quest log now. So The Last of Us on HBO intends to use a, quote, jaw drop worthy idea from the games. Matthew Olson at US Gamer says, I could feel I can feel the sadness in the room right now with that. So when exploring ideas for the show, Neil Druckmann mentioned an idea that never made it into the original game, which Craig Mazin, the writer of the show, found, quote, jaw-dropping. He elaborated further and was like, you have to shoot me to not do this idea. Like, he was really adamant that they do it. Both Druckmann and Mazin wanted to broaden the Last of Us fan base while not violating people's love of the source material.
Hopefully that's the case.
Personally, I'm really conflicted about hearing this. What do you guys?
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. I mean, what could you?
What
what
more-
could be a jaw-dropping moment?
Right.
Yeah.
More than
Anything that's ever happened in those games.
I don't understand. So I guess what I'm hearing is that they want to change it. It's like, right? Because how can
Yeah.
you do a jaw-dropping moment out of the game is a death?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, really?
Or like a double cross.
Right. So how do you do that without changing the story significantly? And
Maybe-
how far do you do it into the first
Maybe when
season?
they see the giraffe, like a bunch of fucking clickers come and like tear it up.
That's not jaw-dropping.
I would be like, oh shit, if you saw that in the game. I don't know.
I don't know, it could range to something. I don't know, anything I can think of that would be like jaw dropping has to impact the story in some
in a
way.
significant
It has
way,
to.
right.
And if it's something really stupid like Joel's heading over to Salt Lake, City with Ellie, and then like they meet Ellie's mom on the way, and if it's something really stupid, like I don't know the past if that's even possible, but like if it's something like that, I'd be like, that's so dumb. That would have happened in the game if it was that important to the story. I just can't. Or if like a certain character were to die in the story of the first game, or
I'm curious to see
I
where
can't
they
imagine.
pick up from. I'm curious to see if it's like a exact telling of like
Yeah, if they start
the game's events.
as Joel's daughter Sarah,
Right.
and it's like
Yeah.
she dies in like the first 15 minutes of the episode, and
And-
you're like, what the fuck?
It makes me feel better about it that Neil Druckmann felt like he could bring this up to the the director and be like, here is an idea that we had for the game that might work for your vision of what you're thinking for the so that makes me feel a little bit better.
Guys, I enjoyed the last season of Game of Thrones, so it's not gonna. This isn't gonna bother me. I'm gonna enjoy this.
Wait a second. What?
I'm with you.
Wait.
With you.
What?
Yeah, man. I'm fine.
Listen,
I'm fine with it. It's okay. It's not that bad. It's not that fucking bad, man.
Does this bring into context how bad Crossroads is?
It really does, because I think season. I won't get into it.
It has its faults, but it's not fucking terrible.
It was disappointing, but I just wanted more Game of Thrones.
Season 8 was weird.
Yeah, I mean, there was some things that were weird, definitely, but I got all the stuff I wanted out of it. The Hound.
Yeah, the Hound and the mountain fighting. That was dope. Fucking John killing. Spoilers, I guess. Dude, come on, man! It wasn't that bad. Man.
It was. There were some really terrible scenes. The one I can't get over. I don't mean to get into it, but the one I can't get over is it's total spoiler alert. Total spoiler alert. When Tyrion starts recommending that they pick like the new king, that scene makes absolutely no sense because it's like, hey, here's someone who's on trial for treason, and he's the treasonous person is recommending we all pick a new king. Like, that's completely illogical. It makes absolutely no sense.
But everybody looked to him for not like he's the most knowledgeable person there is. Like, he drinks and knows things, so they got obviously looked to that guy for his advice and his input. So whatever.
I don't know. It's just like, hey, here's this murderer. He's like really smart and stuff, and people like listen to him in the neighborhood. But he's a serial killer. And he's on trial, and while he's on trial, he brings up like, hey, Bob down the street might want to kill. Yeah, might want to kill that guy. And everyone's like, that's not a bad idea. The jury all starts to talk about how like, let's kill Bob. That sounds like a good idea. Like, let's let the murderer who's on trial tell us who's your murderer next. Anyway.
I loved it. I don't care.
Here going back to what you were saying, Neil Druckmann. Like the fact that this is coming from him makes me feel a little better about it. But if they ruin The Last of Us, like I'm gonna be really.
That's
mad.
the thing. They can't ruin the game for you. Like they could ruin everything.
I can be petty if I want to.
Okay, fair enough. You could. It's true. You could definitely do that.
I'll just shut off HBO and just go back downstairs and play the video. I'll turn on Last of Us.
Nothing will ever ruin the experience of the video game for you.
No, of course.
Like adding all this other bullshit to it, it could kind of, like drown out some of that.
So, like my dad, for example, I know he would love the Last of Us story, but he doesn't play video games, nor would he ever want to. So he's never going to experience the story unless HBO does this like justice. So I think for that reason, I'd be kind of upset because I think he would like the story a lot.
Yeah, you don't want to be like, Dad, this was a great game, though.
Yeah, it was
I know you hated the show. The show sucked. I'm sorry, but the game was so good.
My parents are going to be very into this. They're into zombie stuff, and so they would really like this. They also like they've liked a lot of the video game. Well, I say a lot, but they love The Witcher, and they always yell at me for not watching it.
Oh, really?
Like,
you didn't watch The Witcher?
Like, no.
What the fuck's wrong with
You didn't watch?
I watched like 2 episodes.
Oh, but you didn't.
You didn't watch The Witcher?
No, I didn't watch The Witcher. No.
It's so good.
It's so good.
I just haven't. I don't know. I'm an idiot because I'm like my mind's like a goldfish where I'll say like I gotta watch something new and then I'll turn on and be like, oh, The Office. Like What We Do in the Shadows. Oh, that's it. Oh, I'm gonna watch Last night after we get off with you, I watched The Guardian. You know what movie that is? The one with Costner and.
Do you know what it's not?
What?
It's not Mr. Robot. You got to get on Mr. Robot.
That's a whole other thing.
I hate that like every friend I have that watches Mr. Robot is always like, I can't watch TV because I watch Mr. Robot and it's not Mr. Robot.
Honestly, I don't think I haven't watched any TV since watching Mr. Robot.
It's really fucking good.
Can't remember the last thing I actually watched. No, that was the last show I think I watched.
Because it ruins all TV.
I watched a little bit of Hell's Kitchen, but
Hell's Kitchen.
The last show I actually sat down and watched was Dave.
Dave.
I can't watch anything past Dave. Dave was so good, and I just can't watch TV anymore.
I did watch 3 episodes of Dave, and I liked it, but I ran into the Mr. Robot problem. Like, this isn't about a hacker trying to take down an elite group of the top 1%, and I just can't watch it.
You should watch The Witcher, though.
I know. I need to watch it.
Yeah. So PS5, moving on, the Sony Quest log here. PS5 can, parentheses, obviously, run games in native 4K 60 frames per second. Thank you, Lou Cantaldi at DualShockers. So the kind of intrigue on this conversation began when Dusk Golem, who is known for his extremely accurate Resident Evil Village predictions, which he basically 100% nailed, he tweeted the following. I'm going to hate myself later for responding to this. I can feel it. People attracted to this sort of topic are horribly toxic. But a lot of people misinterpreted what I said, which is partially my fault. Of course, Resident Evil 8 will run fine on launch, and that was never in question by me. but people should get ready for the really real possibility that PS5 is going to end up being the more expensive console between the two. I'm trying not to say too much here as I was asked not to, but prepare yourself, which does put the Xbox Series X in a position it'll be the less expensive and more powerful console. I used Resident Evil 8 as an example, but I've heard from other developers that PS5 struggles with 4K games in particular, so you'll see a lot of fake 4K. That doesn't matter to some, but get ready for that too. Xbox Series X doesn't have the same problem. Resident Evil 8 may be having some of those issues, but Team Kill Media, made a statement about their upcoming game Quantum Error, which it says currently runs at 4K 80 frames per second, unoptimized. So they're not having problems with it, but Resident Evil might be having some problems with it.
They're both third-party games, right?
Both third-party games, yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't know if Quantum. I think Quantum Error is third-party, but I think it might be PS5 exclusive.
That might be an interesting juxtaposition between the two consoles, because if PlayStation ends up being more expensive, and you have all the goodwill towards all the first-party PlayStation stuff, it's more expensive, it's less powerful. Xbox is obviously cheaper,
right,
and more powerful. Do people care? Like, do people truly care? Like, if you're someone, and this is so tough to talk about because there's always going to be people in either camp.
Right.
You're an Xbox person, you're a PlayStation person. You need to get somebody who either has both consoles now and they're only choosing one, or someone maybe who's coming into it fresh, where you're like, you talk to them and you say, all right, what are you thinking? Like, here's the thing, like PS5,
right,
you get all these first party games. People love PS4. It's more expensive. It's less powerful than the Xbox, which has Game Pass.
Right.
With all these games, you pay 1 month. You know,
you add Game Pass to that, it's tough to.
It's so tough to get somebody
It really
on Twitter
balances things
or
out.
to chat with that doesn't already have
Yeah, the bias. Yeah.
the bias towards it. I'm so curious to see what a mother or someone in their cell are buying for their kids. Like, what are they? I mean, maybe a mom isn't really looking that deep into it. But that's an interesting juxtaposition.
If a mother's out there looking for the best value for their money, then yeah, they probably lean towards Xbox.
Right.
But if she didn't realize that her son wants to play the best games there are, then
But if I told my dad, if I was a blue shirt and I was talking to my dad and I was trying to sell him on like buying your son either console, I'd be like, hey, listen, like, here's the PS5, it's a great console. Technically on the spec sheet, the Xbox is more powerful and it's cheaper. My dad would be like, that doesn't seem right. Like that, like, what's the trick?
yeah, why?
Is it cheaper?
Yeah.
Some people are like that.
Yeah.
They're skeptical and they're skeptics about it.
Some people will buy things because it is more expensive.
Right.
That happens.
True.
Yeah.
That's another
That's true. I know a lot of people. Like
I think
that.
it's weird because obviously Xbox kind of won the 360 generation, I would say. I mean, you could argue that PS3 picked up at the end, but they won the 360, so going into it, Xbox One was the less powerful and more expensive console, and then obviously a bunch of other factors, Don Matrick, the media stuff with the Kinect, but other than that, PS4 just like ran wild. So I don't know what's gonna happen. Obviously, Sony has all their exclusives, so I think Sony fanboys like myself are still gonna go for the PS5 immediately, but it's like, where is that juxtaposition? If Xbox Series X was like, look, we have Game Pass, we have all this, we're more powerful, we are cheaper. I think there's some people where it's going to be like, okay, Game Pass, there's like 200 games on it, there's backwards compatibility with 360 and original Xbox games, all these games. I don't care about The Last of Us or this that much. I might get the Xbox. It's weird. There's so many like different I don't know, so many different facts and everything and factors that kind of like put into it to figure out which one's going to be more favorable.
I'm glad you brought up the power difference between the PS4 and the Xbox One, because there was a difference, but it was actually smaller than the difference that we're seeing between the PS5 and the Xbox Series X.
How many teraflops are we talking?
It was the numbers were, it was like 1.4 to like 1.2 or 1.3 or something like that. It wasn't a huge difference, but it did result in Call of Duty running at 900p on Xbox, but 1080p on PS4.
Right.
So there's enough of a difference in that small amount to actually be meaningful. We're talking about 2 full teraflops of difference in performance. It's yet to be determined how much the SSD can make up for that, if at all. But this is something that I've kind of been speculating about for a while now, which is that we're going to see these games launch and multi-platform, and they're going to perform better on Xbox. But the PS5 is going to have the better looking, probably exclusive games on their console, and that's like you kind of pointed out, Brett. That's kind of the trade-off. We're going to kind of see what plays out there. But it was really devastating for Xbox for a while to constantly have every time a new game came out, like here's how it looks on Xbox One, here's it running better on PS4. Like that hurt Xbox because the mom who's looking it up is going to go, well, my son wants to play Resident Evil Village, so how does that look? You know, how's that? Is it? Oh, I've heard it's better on Xbox, so I'm going to get the Xbox. Most games purchased are third-party games, so it's definitely something that could hurt them in the future. But I think we all know that, like, for what we like in games, we like the games, so it just kind of depends on the person.
And that, you know, true, I don't want to say true gamers, but, you know, avid gamers like us, we, you know, like you said, we know what we want. We're going to lean towards most likely the better games. Yeah. And as of lately, it's been on the PlayStation.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't mind.
Well, except for Crackdown 3.
I don't mind a teraflop not being there if I could play fucking The Last of Us 2 that looks better than any fucking game that I've ever seen play on an Xbox. You know what I mean? So.
And then there's the other thing, too. Like, most of the time I play video games with the people that are on this call. Plus, you know, everybody else is like Chad's not here, Trevor, all those guys, too.
Yeah.
But if everybody decided like they were gonna get the Atari VCS, like I might be like, all right,
get one.
Like I guess we're getting the Atari VCS because who am I gonna play with? Like maybe I eventually get those consoles, but the truth is that's a large part of my pick. Like who am I playing with? When I was a kid, I played a ton of Xbox with my friends. So when the Xbox One came out, I was like, that's a no-brainer. I'm gonna get that right at launch because everybody's still playing on that, and all of our gamer tags are gonna be the same. We're gonna play. So that's another huge factor for me. Like I'm never getting the Atari VCS.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, Missile Command Reimagined would be a great game night game.
So we could go into another 2 hours on the VCS.
I was in the same boat as you, though, Matt. I was a 360 kid, and I had a good friends list. My cousin, like I was mentioning earlier, play a lot with him. They stuck to Xbox, and I made the jump to PS4, and I had no one to play with, like nobody. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I randomly found a couple of friends of mine through like Facebook and stuff that played in it. Even that, I didn't really get into any multiplayer games with them. So,
what did you say, Brent?
So that was exactly me. I was 360 and I went to PS4 because my uncle got it for me, and I had like nobody, so I don't play online much. But I agree, Matt. I was like a big PC guy, and I was enjoying it for a while. But then when I started becoming friends with you guys, I only use my PS4 now. Like I'm getting Avengers and everything on PS4 because to play with all you guys is where my friends are. I would obviously, so I'm not playing on PC. I'm trading a bunch of graphical fidelities and stuff and field of view, which I really want. All that, and Spider-Man, but like other things like that. So it's kind of, if I had to choose between PS5 and Xbox Series X based off of teraflops, obviously it'd be PS5 just where my friends are.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Such a complex topic.
I know, right?
It's not cut and dry, and it's a lot of times it's not numbers.
Yeah.
Price and stats.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like I'm a Nintendo person. Power definitely not important to me. I'm a Nintendo person.
But you can't play with your friends online because
the
okay.
This is what I do too.
Because it sucks.
You said something, Brent?
I say because it sucks.
Take it back. Take it back.
I'm a Nintendo guy too. That online is really bad.
Not with that attitude. This sounds just like a Nintendo fan to me.
Not with that attitude.
You're talking to someone who's one of the top 10 favorite games is Luigi's Mansion. Okay, I'll have you know.
That is a hardcore, serious Nintendo fan. I want to send a picture to my wife.
I do love Nintendo too, and that's like a whole other different ball game.
But you can't play Crossroads on Nintendo, so just like not worth
Thank
it.
God. Thank God.
Imagine playing it on that.
God.
So
You know what's sad? Like it probably like that game. It's like Crossroads looks really good too. Like it like is visually pretty decent. Like I bet it would have trouble running on the Switch, which is like such a nonsense. The game is trash.
All right, we're all ready to move on.
Yes.
All right. We're going to do an ad read really quickly. I know. Very exciting. I'd like to tell you a bit about Affable Idiots. Affable Idiots is a brand under which our products and podcasts will live. Respawning Fire, our new off-color Mr. Rogers type show called AAWY, and also with you, and much more to come. Video versions of our podcasts are only the first of many amazing things we're bringing you this year, and we need your support. First, the easiest and freest thing you can do for us right now is to go subscribe to 3 YouTube channels. This channel, Respawning Fire, our parent channel, Affable Idiots, and our sister podcast, AAWI, and Also With You. Links to these are in the description below, and we need 100 subscribers for each in order to have a custom YouTube URL with our name in it, like youtube.com/respawningfire, which is not what it is right now. Don't look up that URL. You can also do us more good by leaving us a sweet and sexy review over on our podcast service you listen to us on, and even to those who don't. Stars are great, and we want them all, but words of affirmation are the Affable Idiots' love language, so feel free to drop us a message in there too. Finally, Respawning Fire is a Patreon over at patreon.com/respawningfire. Your continued support there has literally paid for our tickets. I forgot to leave this part out, and I edited it too, and I forgot to. It has paid for the tickets to E3 we didn't go to this year. We are incredibly grateful to each and every one of you. If you want to support us, $1 gets you playtime with us each week, influence over what we play for Barf each month, and super cool, sexy wallpapers for your electronic supercomputers. But there is one more thing. On August 31st, we'll be releasing The Grind on the Respawning Fire YouTube channel. The Grind features a breakdown of big topics and a multi-episode video essay series. The first season looks at Google Stadia, the promises it made, and how it can move into the future. So definitely look forward to that coming August 31st.
The promises it broke.
The promises it broke, yeah.
I'm very excited for that. That sounds awesome.
It's
And I want to go to that
hyped for
post
it.
that people are kind of trashing Matt on, and just tag that video in it so that they can watch it when they're done.
Moving on out of the main quest, which is a pretty huge news story that happened this week, and actually just in the past few days. It is Epic versus Apple and Google. So Epic has kind of always had a problem with the 70-30 split that developers get when going on platforms like the App Store, Google Play, and they decided that they were going to do something I think pretty good, which was make their own store have it was an 88-12 split, which is like really awesome of them to actually put their money where their mouth is. They're taking that, I'd say, to the next level, and they decided that they were just going to go ahead and put their in-app purchases in Fortnite as $8 instead of $10, and literally label it as like direct payment to Epic versus the Apple Store app payment. To give people, as they put it in the court log, a quote healthy competition. Right. It's just, we'll get to that. So Epic changed its in-app payment to bypass Apple, and they also did that by updating without Apple's approval. So they violated Apple's terms on 2 accounts, and Google's accounts on those 2 accounts, and because of that, both Google and Apple have taken Fortnite off of the platform for the violations of their guidelines. Mm-hmm. In response, Epic has sued both Apple and Google. They also released a video which targeted Apple specifically and mimicked their Apple's 1984 advertisement and with the hashtag Free Fortnite. In the court cases, Epic claims that both Google and Apple have unfair/illegal monopolies within the app market on their respective platforms. So it's not just about the 30% split, but that's a portion of it. They say this monopolistic power allows Google and Apple to force a 30% tax on the developers. So there's kind of 2 parts of it. There's 30% kind of tax, as they put it, and then there's just the fact that in order to put something on, in this specific case, like Apple's platform, you have to go through Apple. You don't have any sort of other means to get onto an iPhone. We're going to break this down a little bit, but I guess we'll cover our initial impressions of this. Then we'll kind of get more granular onto the 30% cut, what we feel about that, and then the monopolistic just having an app store, and if that's okay by us.
Yeah. Give our opinions before Holden hits us with the facts.
He's just gonna make us all look dumb.
I can go first if you want me to, but sure. I looked a lot into this, so I know some, but I want to hear the impressions.
So my first thing when I saw the video, I was like, "That's some compelling shit."
It's definitely compelling.
I'm like, "That's some compelling shit."
I didn't even
Fuck
watch
yeah,
the
Epic!
video.
Fight the man, fight the power, and then you're like, look deeper into it, and you're like, "Oh, that's fucking Tencent." That's you're like this fucking huge corporation. The fact that the first thing that I don't care about Fortnite. I don't care about V-Bucks. I don't care about that thing. I don't care. I don't even really care about the split.
I don't even care about mobile gaming.
The 70-30 the 70-30 split. I don't care. That's Apple making their money. This is their store. It works better than anything else out there. It's and Google has the same split.
Yeah, 70-30.
70-30. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's probably just them Maybe Google doesn't deserve that in their end for a few things on their store, but Apple definitely does. 70-30, whatever. That's fine. The first thing that came to mind here is like, oh man, could this be the shakeup we need to get xCloud on iOS, to get Stadia on iOS? The first thing I thought of, and then the chat immediately shot that down. He's like, that's not what the argument is here, which I totally get, but I'm like, oh well, they're talking.
I'm more focused on that too. I think that's the more important thing. But
Yeah.
So they were
same,
like, talking about that. What'd you say, Brent?
I just said same.
Yeah. So like that's the first thing that jumped out at me. I was like, this is compelling stuff. I don't really see, but I'll get into what. I mean, I think that like them doing this is not necessarily like, okay, like Apple, we're gonna sue Apple, like they're doing us wrong. Like, no, you violated the terms. I think we talked about this briefly, Dallas. You violated the terms. You got your ass burnt off the App Store. You're not like you have no feet to stand on. But you know what it does? Mm-hmm. It gets people that don't know about the 70-30 split, that don't know about all this stuff that Apple, like all these restrictions that Apple has with its App Store, and it lets them know. Yeah. Tencent could be in a lawsuit for as long as they want. Right. It doesn't matter to them. Like there's
even Epic on their own could.
Yeah. They just got a room full of lawyers. They just like there's like a shoot,
and they got nothing to do. So like, go just try and sue Apple.
Right. Like we're suing Apple, and they have this huge duffel bag full of money. They just dump into a tube, and it shoots it into the room, and like the lawyers as they're working just paying them. So yeah, that's my opinion.
I think my thing before Holden gives us the facts is kind of like my initial thing on it, and I think I'm still kind of gonna be that. Maybe because I'm young and I'm like, yeah, destroy corporations. But I also don't like the opinion of like, oh, which billion-dollar corporation do you support? I don't know. I think it's a little more complicated than that. But my whole thing is, I'm not necessarily like rooting for it because I want Epic to have more money. I just don't like Apple. I say that as most of my products are Apple, but I don't like their practices and I don't like how much they do. No store needs a 30% cut just for existing. Like, I'm not too big on Epic, but I like that they do that 12%. Like, you don't need 30% just for existing and doing stuff. You really don't, especially someone like Apple. And I think, like I said, I don't really care if Epic themselves wins, but I think this could be a good precedent for smaller developers. Whether or not you want to argue that Epic thinks about smaller creators, which I think to a point they really do. I don't think all corporations are just money. Obviously, there's a bottom line. I'm not that naive. But I think it can stand to reason that there is something that helps smaller creators, smaller devs that are getting screwed over by this 30% cut. And yeah, Epic violated their terms, which they knew. Like, the fact that they had this like short film and the documents within the same day, they had this strategically planned, and Apple and Google both fell into their trap. So it's like, I don't know how to look at it, but I want Apple's things to change. I think Apple has some really awful practices, and I want them to change. If it takes Epic to do it for whatever selfish reason they want, then I'm not too big on it. Because yeah, they broke the terms. I'm not going to be naive to that, but it's just I don't like Apple's practices.
That's fair. Yeah, I was saying earlier that, obviously the terms are broken, so it is what it is. But I'm assuming that this is hopefully maybe it's a catalyst into the situation where their split changes, because you're right. I think Brent's right. Like, I don't think it's fair, like 70-30. I don't think that's fair to especially smaller developers. And I think what Epic's doing with their store is a better model, obviously. But what are you gonna do? It's I was talking about it earlier, saying that everybody was, now this might be mental gymnastics here or not. It might be such a stupid point, but everybody claimed that Sony was anti-consumer with buying the rights to Spider-Man to put him in the Marvel game. And I brought up the point, like, why is nobody considering Epic anti-consumer right now by purposely doing this and getting their app removed from these stores?
It's a good point.
Not allowing people to play their game anymore. Where's the outrage for that? Like, I don't understand that.
It's also so clear that they knew this was going to happen.
Right.
They had a lawsuit ready to go the day that they were taken off the store.
Millions of people can't play their games. I mean, how many little kids are fucking crying right now?
I don't think that's mental gymnastics at all. I think that's
I think not so much mental gymnastics, but like I'm reaching to like put blame on.
I don't think it's a reach at all. I would say that technically, if you have it downloaded, you can still play it. But as soon as they update it on other platforms, and iOS and Android aren't able to update,
can you still buy V-Bucks?
No, you can't. I don't think you can do anything.
Maybe
Well,
parents are
actually,
happy now, but-
I actually don't know. I don't know about that actually.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that would be. That's a really good question. But like, yeah, if there's an update, which obviously they're gonna do, they're not gonna not update on the
Update
other
the game,
platforms.
right,
So like, yeah, like that could totally at that point, then like you're done. You can't even like. But for like the next few days, probably,
Yeah.
like it'll be good. But yeah, but like, how many kids are gonna be super upset about
Yeah.
this? How many 5-year-olds are gonna go? No, so you don't understand. So there's a 70-30 split, and they're not gonna know what you're talking about.
Is Fortnite on Google Stadia?
No, it's not.
Is it?
It's not. Do you know it's not on Stadia? I will get it. Never mind.
What?
I was gonna say, you know it's not on Stadia, but I'll no. August 31st, the grind. You'll hear all about it. Steven's in the chat from Engaged Family Gaming. He says, "Hey gang, is it bad that I just want to see the world burn on this one?" He says, "No, it isn't."
Yeah. So like Brent said, it's kind of. I don't
agree,
want to
Steven.
argue about what billion-dollar company we should be supporting here. So hopefully there's some benefit out of this. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here with a MacBook Pro running the stream. I have my iPad I put on the floor. I have the iPad that just controls the lights in here. It's an older iPad too. And I have my iPhone right here. I love Apple. I wish that they did a few things differently, but
Of course.
it's hard for me to say that they're in the wrong.
Right.
yeah.
If I had an app store like that, and I was getting a 70-30 split, I felt like I deserved it, and it doesn't matter. It's numbers. It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
I mean, I want that money. I don't know.
So when I first heard about this, my kind of gut reaction was kind of that whole like, yeah, stick it to the man. Like I was very much on Epic's
You have
side.
to root for that because it's so
No,
cool.
Right.
it's always cool when you see, especially in Epic's case, where like they've risen up and kind of were this smaller company, and now they're able to stand up to companies like Apple, and Google. Like that's
Yeah.
obviously very cool to see. The more I've looked into this, though, the more I'm completely 100% on Apple's side of this. So I keep hearing this with the 70-30 split. I hear that, like, yeah, 30%, it sounds like a big number. But we have to compare that as to what existed before the App Store. Before the App Store, you just had buying through physical retail stores, basically. So what were the margins there? So I couldn't find a whole lot. There's basically one article from the LA Times called Anatomy of a $60 Video Game. The CEO of OnLive provided the information at the time. And if you look at those retail margins, they basically, if you think about what Apple is offering them, they're offering the retail kind of outlet, essentially, of
Right.
like being the retail store.
Yeah.
They're handling the distribution and the cost of the goods, and they're doing also a platform like kind of royalty fee, which every other kind of place would have. So if you're PlayStation, you pay them like in this case on retail, you pay them like a $70 platform royalty fee. Microsoft does the same thing. So like if you include all those things that were at retail, then they're 13 to 25% better than what the 70-30 split. I explained that poorly, but like it.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so you're actually making way more money by being on the App Store than you are through physical retail stores.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. If you want to sell your game at a retail, like if you want to bring a retail product to a retail store,
Yeah.
how is that? Like, is Walmart a monopoly? I don't know.
No, I think you're bringing up really good questions. I'll come to that because
like it's a way to sell. It's a platform you're putting your product on to sell,
Well-
to distribute your product. So, fuck off with it being a monopoly. Like,
Yeah, so like, the monopoly part we'll definitely talk about too. The margins in the monopoly is a little different because I feel like let me finish off the margin really quickly.
Yeah.
It's better than it was before. So Apple's offering a better service than they did before. But is 30% too much? Like, is that hurting indie developers? Could that indie developer have gotten into a physical retail store to begin with?
Right.
Hell no, because it's about the relationships and all that kind of stuff. Apple, you just post and that's it.
How do you
that's
adjust
huge.
how do you adjust that slider though? Like, how do you find the point where like developer, like, because if you made it super cheap, of
Yeah.
course other developers are going to thrive. If you make it free,
Yeah.
to post, obviously some developers are going to thrive on it. If you make it too expensive, some developers aren't.
Right, and you don't want to saturate the market with shit either. So, like,
This,
if a developer isn't good enough to make money off a product that's not good, then they shouldn't be in your fucking store. Man.
No, exactly. Yeah, like at that point, if they can't make the money, is that Apple's fault or
Right.
is that the
Is
company's
it,
fault?
It's your own fault, motherfucker.
what's up, Brent?
I just think it's so easy to say things like, "Oh, well, it's better than it was." Oh, they wouldn't be able to get into a store before, so Apple's doing a service. Which, yeah, that's why Apple deserves a cut. But do they deserve 30% though? Is the thing. If anything, I think Apple is sticking to barbaric ways in the terms of oh, we have one thing, let's apply it for everybody. Everyone gets this 30% rule. Why can't an indie studio get like 12, maybe 20, and a AAA studio like Epic gets like 30%
So
or something like that?
the treating everyone equally is important, because do you want a situation where Epic can finagle Apple and pay nothing to Apple, whereas the smaller developers who don't have that power are in a position where they have to pay more potentially? Like, as soon as you start talking about treating people differently in the platform, then you're opening up to large corporations getting favored, and being able to kind of bully their way into like. Epic can do this. They can do this lawsuit and put a bunch of pressure on Apple. So if Apple just treats everyone equally, then that's kind of more fair. And to the whole, like, is it better for indie developers? Yeah, Apple's doing it better. I'm going to be honest, I don't understand the whole, like, it's easy to say it's better. If it's better, it's better. More developers can access customers.
Should it be better, I think is what he's saying. Like,
so 30%
I disagree, though. It's like, it's better, but it doesn't mean it's right. It's like...
But it's not
it's
an
like,
oppressive tax if it's better than what was existing before.
That's the thing. I think that's what Matt was saying. Where is the fine line? Where is it profitable for everybody? Where is it reasonable for everybody?
So we agree that Apple has to make profit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously. And if Apple's platform is huge. If you want to be on that platform, there's going to be a fee to be there. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so there's always going to be a fee. It's never going to be free. Apple does 30%, and they'll say, like, Epic does 12%.
Yeah.
With the 30%, they're doing the hosting of the content. They're handling all the customer service for all payments. So if there's any sort of payment issues, that kind of thing, like, Apple will handle that. The small indie developer doesn't have to deal with any of that. Apple's also going to help with like curation of apps. So like that's people that they have to pay to do that curation of the App Store, which can push up, smaller developers as well. It can also help big developers too, of course. But they're also dealing with millions and millions and millions of apps, and millions of apps and every update for those apps, and they get back to those reviews within 24 hours. That's got to require such a huge operation to do that. That's where the 30% cut is going. Mm-hmm. Epic can do 12% because how many games do they have to do? Mm-hmm. A few thousand. It's not the same, and the rating and all that, and the approval there, like that happens outside of Epic. Epic's not doing nearly as much as them. That's why Apple can charge 30%, but Epic shouldn't be charging 30%, which I think brings into question like Steam or like PlayStation, like those kind of places. But I don't think Apple and Google fall in that category because they have such a huge scale. They need to be able to support it,
and it needs to be fair. Not even fair, but it needs, like you said, it has to be the same for everybody. You can't play favorites so much to say or give a discount here and there. Like it just you have to know your profit margin. And if you're gonna, what happens if you say, all right, it's 30% for Epic, but a small indie gets 12. Well, Epic's like, fuck you. Then you lose all that, all that profit you would have had from them. It's way above. Like I was telling Matt last night, like I'm too stupid to even have this conversation. So
there's also just not great information. It's really hard to find like how much profit does Apple make off of the 30%. I have absolutely no idea. Yeah. If it's 90% profit, let's bring that down and give some more of that to the developers. But I don't know what that profit is.
Yeah,
so maybe the court case will.
What is the cost of the service, right?
Yeah.
And what is that difference?
Yeah. What are they paying?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, that probably won't be something that you'd be able to get
find, right?
Or they will give a spreadsheet on, right?
But
again, like
maybe we have to hit up our Apple Insiders.
I don't want to be someone who like I don't want to feel like I want to like I don't necessarily feel like in this conversation I have to back either side. Like I don't feel like I have to back Apple. Apple's gonna be fine. I don't feel like I have to back Epic. There might be some other people that maybe like this is hitting worse and they don't have a big enough voice like Epic does with Tencent behind them. But I just think it's interesting. I think Epic like has a department that just wants to start shit with people.
Right.
They do it all the time.
They want to change the landscape of gaming.
Right.
And
they just want to start shit with people, and I think that's fine. I think this is an interesting thing to look at, and it also brings more people to the conversation. Like I was saying before, how many people had no idea about the split or any idea about how their money was going besides looking at their phone and have it scan their face and pay for, you know what I mean? Right. So
I do want to make it clear that like I'm not saying this because I like Epic enough to defend them. I just think of the ramifications of if this were to change, it would help indie developers and stuff like that. I don't care what Epic does. Like they have fuck you, money. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
But I feel like if this was to change, it would help so many other developers. That's why I'm kind of on the side of it, but I don't care what Epic does with it, honestly. I think the campaign's fun and funny, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care how much more money Epic gets because of this.
Steven in the chat, he says the audio's a little low.
For all of us?
For all of us, yeah.
Okay.
He also says the Apple curation is hot garbage. Yeah, I mean, the point wasn't that it was great curation. The point is just like they're doing that. That's a lot of people who are operating it. Who they have to pay for that. So you're talking about the 30% then. The other part is kind of the monopolistic practices, which in the case of Google and Apple, basically just means it's more so for Apple, less for Google. But in the court complaint, they talked about the same thing for both of them, which is that if you want to make an app on those platforms, you basically have to go through Google and Apple, and you have to take the 30% cut. You have to, especially in Apple, you can't just sideload an app, like you can on a PC and go to a different store. You have to go through Apple. And they think that this is unfair. And this is kind of getting to what you're talking about with Twitter, with Walmart and like.
Yeah, if you want your product to be on Walmart shelves, you're gonna have to fucking pay Walmart what they want.
Yeah.
If you want to be on the platform of Apple, you're gonna have to pay Apple what they want. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's.
I mean, yeah, there might not be other places to put. There's not other platforms. Like they may have the monopoly on the platform. Well, then go out and make a fucking Epic phone and put your fucking Epic Store app on there.
Does it have green or blue bubbles? The Epic phone.
Red? Is Epic red? I think
Why does everybody get all bent out? This is a tangent. Why does everybody get all bent out of shape about the blue bubbles? I totally get it. It works great with iOS, and like that's why it's like a sticking point. Why is the iOS message app a green icon with a white?
Oh yeah, that's not blue. Because on Mac it's blue.
Why is it not blue?
On Mac it's blue.
Is it blue?
Yeah, it's blue on Mac.
It is blue, right?
Yeah.
Blue with a little white. Why isn't it blue?
That's a great question. Great question.
We
hit up our Apple.
Green around here.
You gotta hit up that Apple Insider and have them change it.
With the whole store thing, I like the Walmart comparison because, like, first of all, Epic is basically asking to be able to put an app store within Apple's app store. It's like saying I want to open up a Target within Walmart. It's right. I don't see this possible. Yeah. The other, to me, I think this is a flaw in logic is that they're saying that iOS has a monopoly. Apple has a monopoly over iOS. It's their product. But, I don't think it's the iOS industry. It's the smartphone industry.
Sure,
and in the smartphone industry, you have options. If you wanted a platform where you could download other stores, you can go to Google. They tried to claim in the court case that Google doesn't allow other app stores on Android phones, but the Samsung store exists. So, clearly there is something there. Mm-hmm. They said in the hearing that in the complaint that they tried to get the Epic Store on OnePlus phones explicitly, but then Google completely shut it down. But they didn't really say they didn't offer a lot of details as to this is the first anyone's really ever heard of this happening.
Yeah.
But if Samsung did it, there's clearly something there. So I just don't understand. The monopoly one's the one I understand the least, I think.
Yeah, it's way more confusing.
Well, I mean,
to me.
Android does have different stores and stuff. I think Samsung's kind of a weird comparison just because Samsung's Google's biggest cooperator, though.
The Samsung Galaxy Store has been around since 2008, so it's been around back before.
Yeah, I just mean
Samsung was even the number one selling smartphone in America. Well before it, years before it.
Who the fuck buys Samsung?
Lots of people. It sells more than iPhones.
Ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Why?
I had a Samsung for a while, but it got
What do you
it
have
got
now,
too
Jack?
much.
Brent.
I got 11 Pro iPhone.
Yeah, great choice.
Nice.
There's 4 of us here. We all have.
I just as much as I don't like Apple's practices, I like Apple because it's simple and simplistic. Android was just too much. I don't care about third-party stores and widgets and different things.
Yeah, totally. That's what I was telling us when we were playing Splatoon a couple weeks ago, Holden.
Yeah.
I was talking to Holden. I'm like, oh, that's great that I can put a custom launcher on my Samsung and do all this crazy shit on my Android phone. But I don't want that. I want a curated experience that feels good and is the same throughout everything, every aspect of me going into my phone. Mm-hmm. And that's what Apple does. Right. And that's just something that I think that they do good. And the same thing with the App Store. The reason why everything feels so good and when you download something from the Apple App Store, you feel like you're getting something quality because it's been vetted.
Right.
No, that's exactly.
And it has the support of Apple behind it.
Yeah, that's exactly the point of the App Store. Like, it would, to put other stores on there would severely damage the iPhone
Quality.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 99% of malware is on Android. For mobile malware is on Android. Less than 1% is on iOS. So
Yeah.
like it works. It's super secure.
I've had so many Android phones get like viruses. Most of mine did.
In the App
Don't
Store.
watch as much porn.
I guess that's true.
Get an Apple and watch porn there. You'll be all right.
I mean, we're all good now. I got an Apple.
Yeah.
Ain't had no viruses since. It's also that all that illegal music that I may or may not have downloaded on Android.
Were you using LimeWire?
Oh god.
No, I think it was like FrostWire or something.
Yeah,
It was.
FrostWire.
Is that like the new LimeWire?
That was like when LimeWire got
Shit the
got-
bed?
Yeah, got like they just like flipped it around. It was like it's FrostWire now. Sue us.
I remember I used to use that app so much that until a month ago, I thought Eminem and Linkin Park actually had an album out because it was on FrostWire, and I was like, "This is legit. This is real." And then I went on YouTube a month ago, to look it up because I wanted to listen to it again. Found out it was fake. It was a collab kind of like edit thing.
Yeah.
It's the type of quality stuff you get.
Yeah, that's a good Zippo later app.
I remember like when I first got
An iPhone, you had to get it,
when I
right?
first got
Everybody
my
had
shit,
that.
Do you remember
Everybody had
iBeer?
this.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was he was like, oh, he's drinking a beer. It's like, no, it's not.
That's so weird.
With the one thing I wanted to say about the monopoly claims by, actually one thing I forgot to mention about the claims against Apple that I had to mention because this it was crazy to me that this was even said. And they said that both in the Apple and in the Google complaint that they basically compare the 30% cut to a payment service equivalent to like how MasterCard or like Visa will like charge you 3% in like. They said the same thing about it. They said they specifically like, and the 30% is 10 times more than what other companies charge. And I'm like, that's
Like,
so
are they talking about
disingenuous.
late fees and like
Like a transfer
interest on a.
No, so like when you know how they can go to like a convenience store and they'd be like, oh, $10 minimum to use a card.
Yes.
It's because they don't want to lose profit because
Right,
the 3% that goes to Visa or MasterCard.
Yeah.
That's what Google Epic was referring to, saying that 3% charge is equivalent to
that.
And like that's not at all the same thing. Not the same thing at all. There's that, but then the other one on the monopoly point they made that I thought was really just shockingly disingenuous was that they said that Microsoft in the 90s had the antitrust lawsuits, which they did, and they said in their document that it was because they wouldn't allow other apps to be put on the platform, and that's not at all what it was for. It was because this is back at the time when you had like Netscape and you paid like $10 a month to access the internet through Netscape, and then Microsoft's like, we're just going to put Internet Explorer on all of our devices for free, and that undercuts this entire industry that's charging $10 a month for an internet browser, and it put them out of business. That was an anti-competitive like loss, and obviously Microsoft lost. They're trying to compare what's happening here
To that.
to that, and like that's not at all the same thing.
Right.
Like
Right.
They're not undercutting you. You came to
you came to the
you
platform.
came to their platform with
Yeah.
a product to sell it.
It would be like saying Apple's going to put they're going to put Fortnite on all iOS devices for free,
for
and
free.
all microtransactions are $0.
And-
That would be the equivalent. But that's
Even
not what
that,
happened.
it probably wouldn't even be the same because, well, yeah, I guess.
Or if like Apple was just giving out free V-Bucks or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like with every iPhone, you get 1 million V-Bucks, and you never have to like go to Epic. Like that would be
Fortnite.
So yeah, I think it's pretty much everything to say about this. But
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it shapes up, like
Yeah, absolutely,
what
yeah.
comes of it, and hopefully some way or another, it like back in some backwards way, xCloud just works its way. It's like, hey guys,
Yeah.
look at me.
Let us
So-
in too.
that's what I wanted to go back to is that because I feel like this is totally distracting from the xCloud Stadia stuff, and I think that's much more important and much more, monopolistic of Apple to be doing.
I think that there's a way that Stadia and xCloud can be handled. I think it just needs to be. We need to have people that can look at the situation
Yeah.
and decide, because there's no reason why, Game Pass is a
Yes.
quality product.
Right.
It
Microsoft
works really well.
isn't gonna put that out there as a piece of shit.
Like, there's got to be ways, and Stadia, to a degree, I guess, it's a quality product as well. There has to be ways that you can look at these products and figure out a way for them to exist in your space that before you didn't allow things like this for certain reasons, not for the reasons that xCloud exists.
Yeah.
That's what I think. But yeah.
Yeah, I think the whole streaming thing is weird, especially since the ESRB exists.
Yep.
It's like I don't get why they can't flag like certain ESRB ratings. Be like everything below, like everything up to mature is allowed on our platform. But if you get to like adults only, then we cut it off. Which adults only is not on Game Pass anyway. But
Yeah. That's the funny thing too.
Exactly.
Like, I can't think of a single gaming platform besides PC
that
like,
you could get some garbage on.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I guess on Switch they did
Switch, you can get some garbage on.
Yeah, well, they had that. Oh God, was it? I think we talked about it a few weeks ago. Is the game where you were, Jesus Christ, you were jerking off in the back of a cab, and like you had to not get caught. Don't get caught. Yeah, that was allowed. That was taken down. It was taken down.
I was like, I'm going to download it right now. Hold on.
Don't get caught.
I guess
Ever
Apple's
since
aware
I
of
got
that, maybe. But that's like a
ever
rare.
since I got a
incident.
VR headset, all of the games that are advertised to me on Steam are these awful VR porn games from the same company, and they're so bad.
Oh, I'm not surprised at all though. When I was shelling out those VR headsets, so many people come up to me like, "Hey, what's the porn experience like on this thing?"
We were
Where
doing
you're like, it's fucking dope, dude.
it's top notch. Inside out tracking, no cameras set up. I was doing a show for work up in Boston, and it was for this company PTC, and they do a lot of augmented reality stuff. And one of the carpenters that was working on the show, we were like, me and him were working together. Like I was with him, and like they were setting up this demo for this John Deere tractor, some of the coolest shit I've ever seen. Where you put on the augmented reality and you plug it, you connect to the machine, and it can tell you what's wrong with it, and the engine and all the gears and everything will pop out of the side of the tractor, and you can see what section is
That's
wrong
cool.
with the machine.
That's really cool.
Incredible. And he goes, you know what this would be good for? And I'm like, please don't. And the client's right there. And he goes, this would be great for porn. And I was like, come on. They do pioneer all that shit, though.
Oh, yeah.
I tried it the other day, just kind of like just sitting there because I just wanted to see. I was just really curious. It was so weird. Like you have to download like a client for it, and you have to like download the. Yeah, it's so weird. I was just sitting there and I was like uncomfortable. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this
Rest in
anymore.
peace,
I don't.
Brent Samsung.
It's also weird. I heard this from a friend, definitely not from personal experience. But like, it's so
There
weird.
it is. Yeah, it's weird.
It's not available on PSVR, right?
I think if you plug it into PC, you can get it to work. That one a friend did tell me. I didn't do that one on my own. A friend legitimately told me that one. Yeah.
Oh man, this is
Yeah,
the Twitch
yeah.
chat a few weeks ago.
Nick
We're
Merckx,
just
hit me
we're
up, I
taking
need
it
a
onto the
PC.
show. We're taking it onto the show. Oh man.
I think we're ready to move on to So We're Fucking Humble. Speaking of fucking. Matt had a We're So Fucking Humble he wanted to discuss. Dallas said you didn't have one.
No, I don't have one. No.
Brent, did you have one you wanted to discuss? I
Can we
forgot
talk
to ask
about
you
porn
beforehand.
again?
I apologize.
What'd you say, Brent?
Can we talk about porn again?
Say
Let's
that
do
for the
this.
after show.
Let's do Matt's topic, and then we'll return to porn.
So my topic, and we can just touch on it quickly. I want to talk about repetitiveness in games, and I bring this up because of the Avengers. We were talking about it earlier. People are worried about the repetitiveness. It's repetitive. Destiny is repetitive. It's repetitive. It's funny to me that some games can get labeled, and I'm curious to see where you guys fall on this. Some games can get labeled as repetitiveness when they want to be like regarded as something that's a negative. But then other times, people can regard games as, oh, that's a fun game loop, which is just repetitiveness. So I'm interested to see, like, what is, like, if you think back of the advent of games, Pong, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Mappy, Burger Time, Galaga, Centipede, every single one of those arcade games is repetition.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
And that's the gamified gaminess of it. It's like you get better at it, it's repetitive, you find the patterns, you solve the patterns, you keep going. So I'm it's just like, not where we lose it, but I'm just like, it's so weird that sometimes you can call a game repetitive and then another game a fun game loop, and it'd be like, I don't know, gameplay loop is the good and repetitiveness is the bad. It's interesting to me.
Yeah, I agree with this fully. I think at its base, every game is repetitive at its core. I think what it gets down to is, what do you get from it? I think that's where it comes down to. It's like Avengers. Yeah, it's punch, kick, do some war zones. What do I get out of it, though? Is it rewarding? Is it like Destiny? That could be repetitive, but what I'm doing, I'm enjoying, and I'm getting good loot out of it. I'm doing good things. It's always going to be like, I'm going to a level and I'm shooting, but what breaks that up? What breaks the monotony kind of thing?
Yeah. To me, it's environments, it's enemy types, and then obviously the enjoyment of the gameplay mechanic. You know, I always discuss how Destiny is like the best feeling shooter I've ever felt. Like, it just the feeling of that game is what keeps that repetitiveness, you know, kind of in the back of your mind, and you're like, yeah, this is fun because it's the mechanics are just top notch.
It's kind of like when someone says a movie's too long. It's like, okay, that might be part of the problem, but like, I think it's just you're bored.
Yeah,
and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Because I feel the same thing. Because I've thought it, but I never like put it together until you were telling me about it, like before we recorded. I'm like, yeah, like game loop, like it totally is like that. Where if you don't like something, it's repetitive. You were just bored with it, and it's just kind of a way of saying like it was a boring game. It didn't speak to me. Like No Man's Sky. Very repetitive, really repetitive. If someone says they didn't like about it is it was repetitive, I'm like, yeah, they don't like the gameplay. It's totally cool. I like the repetitiveness of No Man's Sky. Right. That's what I enjoyed out of it. But yeah, I can't think of any game where there's no repetitiveness to it. Like Breath of the Wild, this big, expansive, vast open world. It's repetitive because you look at a hill and you go, ooh, what's on top of that hill? You get up to the hill, you might see like a variety of different things, and you go to that, and then you decide to go somewhere else. And that's the loop. That's the repetitiveness of that game. Like, it just depends if you like it or not, to your point.
Right.
And it also depends on how far you break down a game. Because at the surface level of Last of Us Part 2, it's not a very repetitive game. You're playing through this linear story, and things happen and change as you go through. But then as you break it down, okay, it's a third person. You're playing through, it's a third person action adventure. You're doing that. Okay. And then you break it down a little more. It's like, okay, well, I'm constantly crafting supplies and collecting stuff. Right. And you break it down a little further, and it's like, all right, like I get to an area, and I got to shoot these guys, and then you move to the next area, and you're shooting these guys. It's however far you can break it down, every game is going to have that repetitiveness. It's if it grabs you, and if that game is for you, then it is a successful game loop in your mind. Right. And like, so I don't want to give credence to repetitiveness as being a negative in the game.
Yeah,
I don't want. I think they can be. I think both those words can be used interchangeably.
Yeah, and they should.
Right. And I think that it's weird to call a game out for being repetitive, because it can be like a game can be repetitive and be good, and then a game can be repetitive and be bad. Obviously, that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, the perfect example I think is for me is Breath of the Wild and Ghost of Tsushima. Like, they're both very similar gameplay systems and stuff like that, but to me, Ghost of Tsushima gave me a rewarding experience at the end of that repetitive nature.
Yeah.
You know, like I found a cool sword sleeve, or I found a nice headband, or if I got to ride a fucking haku, or, you know, like all this cool shit. Like I found a fox. In Breath of the Wild, I was like, oh, I'm going to find a fucking treasure chest, and there's going to be a fucking, you know, a gold block in there. What am, you know, like.
And sometimes that is the carrot at the end of the stick that makes the repetitiveness worth it.
Right.
It's
the reward.
It's costumes. It's visual things. Sometimes it's powering up your character. Like I know in Ghost of Tsushima, I did things like again and again and again and again just so I could level up all my moves.
Right. Yeah. You set a goal. You know you have to do this repetitive gameplay loop to get to that goal, and if it's enjoyable, if the mechanics are good, it's going to be fun. Yeah. You know, to me, Breath of the Wild's fighting mechanic isn't as fun as Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The environment, the environment in Ghost of Tsushima to me is one of the most beautiful game environments I've ever witnessed in the game design, the world design. So that's what I liked. I think the most about Breath of the Wild was the environments. Obviously the graphic fidelity isn't as high, but it's beautiful. It's fun to explore. But when I got to certain areas, it was just emptiness, and I'm like, ugh. or it was a bandit camp or a blocking camp or whatever, and it was like, I don't want to do this because I don't have fun with this combat. But in Ghost of Tsushima, I'm like, I'm going to go raid this camp because it's fun.
Oh yeah, that's why
it
follow
is.
Yeah.
game.
It is fun. It's fucking awesome.
I think it's funny because one of the most popular games of all time, Minecraft, is very repetitive, but it's what you do with that repetition that kind of makes it fun. What you do, what you build. Honestly, I agree, disagree a little bit. I think there can be negative repetition. I think that can be different than a game loop. It all depends on things that aren't just gameplay, though. It's like you could have very repetitive gameplay with repetitive levels, repetitive sceneries, kind of like what Dallas is talking about, repetitive enemy types. Like, that's my problem with Avengers so far, is it's all these boring robots that I literally do not care about, and they don't feel fun to punch. So I think if you just have repetitive gameplay loop, that's not as big as a deal as a repetitive game, in my opinion. All the things coming together making a very repetitive game.
Absolutely. It's like if you're coming to like, oh, I'm in the fire area now, and I'm fighting the same exact enemies I fought in the grass area, but now they're red. Like, that's like where it's like, it's different, but it's the same exact thing.
Experience.
Or like Breath of the Wild, like, oh, I got to a new stable. It's a horse on top of a tent.
Right.
Like, it looks like every other stable. Yeah.
Yeah, and then every game they're gonna have like little like challenges, like Doom. You could say like getting the masteries for the weapons is repetitive because you're just like, oh, kill 25 enemies with a super shotgun to upgrade your meat hook. Like, it's a little repetitive, but you get something cool at the end that shakes up the gameplay a little bit. So are my meat hooks upgraded now? So now I can go and get armor pieces as soon as I hit someone with a meat hook. So that changes up how I do the gameplay. So things like that could be on the surface repetitive, that kind of gives you something that makes it less repetitive and changes things up. Things like that could be used to break up the monotony. It just takes a little bit of repetition to get to that point.
Yeah, so there's examples of repetitiveness in a good way.
Yeah.
And repetitiveness in terrible ways, I guess.
Yeah.
It's also subjective.
Oh,
True.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what
I agree though that it's used too negatively.
Yeah, I think recently too. Like, I think like in the last couple of years, you hear repetitiveness and you're like, oh man, that game sucks. Like, but if you play it, it could be for you. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, I played a lot of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Like, I put a couple of $100 probably into that game, and I never beat it. And I've tried to pick it back up a few times to get through it, and I felt that repetitiveness bore. You know, I'm like, I don't want to just go to this camp and just, you know, there are some certain achievements you have to reach to clear the camp, and you could do some without even clearing the whole thing.
Yeah, of course.
So, like, I would do the minimal thing I need to do to get out of there because I was like, I don't want to go through this whole camp and kill everybody. It's just boring. It's the same thing I've been doing for the last $200. So.
Yeah, another form of repetition is definitely is like Ubisoft open worlds, like that kind of like checklist style things.
Yeah.
So things like that, kind of like Ghost does it well because every time I go to one of those checkpoints, like I like seeing like writing a haiku, or I'm like doing this, going to the shrine, getting something cool, having this cool experience with it. Obviously, Assassin's Creed is my favorite franchise, so I don't mind the check marks in Assassin's Creed besides the stupid feathers from AC2, but I can understand why some of the people call those repetitive, and then some of the mission structures repetitive, like tail this guy, boat tail this guy, do this, assassinate, open black box mission kind of thing.
Yeah.
It just depends what you like and how much is too much, I think.
Yeah, I think I just got bogged down with Odyssey and clearing camps because there are a lot of different systems in that game. You know, between there's the cult that you could hunt down, like it's almost overwhelming to a point where it's, you know, I tried to grind out the certain storylines by doing certain things that got repetitive. I think that's what kind of drove me away from that game. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is actually really kind of changed how I kind of look at critiquing a game though, because like if I'm thinking, oh, this game is really repetitive, it's like no, there's more to this feeling I'm having than it's just repetitive. Like what?
Yeah, what makes the repetitiveness of this game boring?
Yeah, exactly. Like I was just thinking about like Dark Souls for a second. Like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, like man, those games are actually extremely repetitive if you really think about it. Like walk up to enemy, dodge enemy, jump at enemy, like hit enemy. Like that's basically all what I mean. It's Bloodborne. That's like basically what it is.
Yeah,
but
the challenge is rewarding and it makes it fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like the variety of enemy types and kind of like I can't just
do that same
thing here. I have to do something a little bit differently, or like just especially in something like Bloodborne, like some of the bosses are just so gorgeous, like looking. I mean, demented looking, but like gorgeous in that kind of like dark, like whoa, that's really cool looking kind of way.
Yeah.
And that kind of keeps going, but it's an incredibly repetitive game.
Good one, Matt.
Yeah, I like that topic a lot.
Yeah. Thanks. So porn. How do you guys feel about it?
Big fan, positive.
I just don't think porn
10 out
gets
of 10
too
would
repetitive.
10 out of 10 repetitive.
I will say, like, if I was thinking about it, I think a good topic to at least touch on for a minute is going back to the Halo thing, graphics. How much, like, are graphics really a turnoff, and how much do you think it's okay to kind of, like, criticize them, like, openly to a point where, like I think Avengers and Halo are two where I've seen it the most, is people don't like the graphics, so they call the game shit. So it's like, where is the line? Are graphics supposed to be insanely important, or is it okay to criticize openly, or like before you play the game, or should you just kind of wait? I guess.
I don't think anybody should criticize anything without playing it. Like I've always had that.
I
always kind of
I
rubbed me
agree
the
with
wrong
that.
way.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I got in an argument
I
with
never
somebody
do that.
Yeah, over No Man's Sky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I first grabbed it, I was like, "Oh, this is a pretty unique experience. Like, I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it." And somebody's like, "That game's trash." I'm like, "Oh, really? What? Why?" Like, I don't know. It just looks like trash. I was like, "So, did you play it?" He's like, "No." I'm like, well, "What the fuck, man? How do you know it's trash?" I mean, apparently most people thought it was trash, but whatever.
Yeah. I'm
That's
in
my
terms of
problem with
graphics, I don't
Avengers
think
right now.
graphics make a game, but they can make a game better.
Right.
Absolutely. I think in the case of Halo Infinite, though, it was the lead up to it. It's the Series X is the most powerful console, and then like
Just expected more.
yeah, but then also Phil Spencer's like, oh, cross-gen games isn't going to hold us back at all, and then you watch the footage and you're like, it did though, like it clearly did. So like in that case, it was warranted in that sense, but that doesn't mean the game sucks. I would criticize it for being the most powerful console wasn't the best showcase to demonstrate that this is the most powerful console. But that doesn't make the game bad. If we say like the game sucks because the graphics are bad, like I absolutely agree with you guys. Like that's just like that's a really I don't like to say bad take, but like I think it's a bad take. Yeah,
It's very elementary bullshit.
Yeah, it's like when you watch a movie, like special effects are terrible. I'm like, yeah, what do you think about the story and the characters and the writing? Like anything else besides like just the graphics. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me, but as soon as it starts messing with like things like that are important in the game, like for me it doesn't. Like 8-bit and 16-bit games are so hot right now.
Yeah.
Like when you think about graphics, like those aren't the best graphics you can have out in a game. And then you have games like Crossroads, like the graphics, like the facial graphics are terrible, but like the cars look pretty good. Like from what you were seeing, they look pretty good.
Yeah.
Like that's a 2020 racing game,
Yeah.
but gameplay shit.
There's also like I think Mass Effect Andromeda is a good example of this, where like the graphics, there are other problems besides the graphics in the game, but like thinking about how the facial animations sometimes just look really, really bad.
Right.
That takes away from an RPG
From that experience. Yeah.
So it takes away in that specific case. That alone doesn't make the bad game. Obviously, there are more problems with it, but like like that was a factor that took me out of the world. Like Fallout games, or like kind of like Bethesda games in general. Like because they don't look as good as like The Witcher or something like that. Like I think because of people's expectations, it can take you out of the world a little bit.
Yeah, I mean that drove me to really love The Witcher, was the way that like at the time it was probably the most beautiful game I had ever played. I was like, this is every time.
Yeah.
I'm having that problem with Ghost. Like every time I turn around, it's like a more beautiful environment. I'm like, this is, it's tough for me to get through because I just want to stop and look at it all and take pictures.
Yeah, I think with Ghost of Tsushima, like one of my new favorite games now, it's like the facial animations aren't that good, and then they obviously don't really animate the arms that much, so arms don't really move. They kind of just stand to the side. But the game does so much to kind of like drive you away from that. Like, okay, these aren't that good. Let's show you our strengths. Let's put our strengths in story, like foliage animation, the sunsets, everything else, to where they lighting, where they don't really take away the facial animations, don't really take away from it. I do want to ask.
I don't
though,
notice the facial animations because I'm always just reading the fucking
Yeah,
subtitles. Like,
exactly.
It takes me forever to get through those.
I do want to ask though. I've seen everyone criticize the Halo Infinite graphics. What about it is bad though? Because I think there's so many parts of it that don't look bad, and everyone just calls it trash. Like
It's just that one
Master
face.
Yeah,
Chief.
it's that one thing.
It's the face.
Yeah, exactly. Master Chief looks beautiful, and some of the environments look pretty cool. But it's
Well-
like that Craig meme came out, and it's like everyone's like, "Yeah, they didn't rig his face, so it's trash."
Are you talking about the guy in the spaceship? Or is that
No, there's the close up.
the close up of the bad dude? I
Yeah,
don't
the
know.
brute.
Yeah, they call him Craig now.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, even the opening of that trailer when he's in the ship with that other dude, and like they kind of,
Yeah,
I seen the meme where I think I shared it with you guys, where it's like
Oh.
that guy's face and then it's Joel's face, like right next to him. Like this
And,
is
like
next
1.4
gen, and,
teraflops,
like, come on,
12
yeah,
teraflops.
like,
Yeah.
But you can't really compare anything to the facial animations of The Last of Us.
No,
2.
yeah.
It's
They're also like one's more of an open experience. The other one's
Right.
like
And it's a first-
linear, like
well,
linear single player story.
Right.
Yeah, like so. Yeah, it wasn't just the face of Craig for me. Like
the
it
world
didn't.
look bland to me. It
Yeah,
just looked-
things were too clean, and I know that kind of Halo has a kind of a cleaner aesthetic, but it to me meant that things weren't jumping out as much. The whole time watching, I'm like, I wouldn't say this looks bad. It's just it doesn't
stand out.
stand out. Like
Yeah.
like Ratchet and Clank, drift whatever. Is it just a drift or a rift apart?
A rift apart.
We rift apart.
Blew me away because it
Yeah.
just it looked. I know I said this like with the PS4 launch when we saw Knack, because Knack looked like a Pixar movie, but like this looks like a Pixar movie, and it looked that good to me, and it was really impressive. That like when I saw Halo, I'm like, yeah, it looks like an Xbox One game. It looks like a really good Xbox One game, and it didn't have that like it didn't hit the same fidelity. But there was also what was it? The gun looked too clean. But then there was a screenshot I saw on Reddit of like an update to it, and the gun looked a lot better. It
Yeah,
had
I
more
saw
texture
that.
on it and that kind of stuff. So I'm like, that's gonna get better. I think you said earlier, Brent, that it was like a few month old build, and I think that's
they
totally,
said 6 months.
Yeah,
It's
it was.
unfortunate they had to come forward with that.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what they came forward
Yeah.
with.
Yeah,
Felt like they
Yeah,
probably
because
were
games
pressured.
are almost like unplayable until they launch. Though it's not like until like a month or two before they start putting everything together and coding it to work together. Like in order to get demos like that, they have to build the demo for public consumption.
yeah.
So it's like I think it was kind of just a dumb criticism that it didn't look amazing because
Well, nobody knew. At
a
the
game's
time
not
either.
supposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's just how like games are these
Yeah,
days.
I
Like they're
know.
not really playable until it launches.
I think that there were a lot of people who were criticizing Halo for just being a bad game because it looked bad for sure. But I also, just to be fair though, I think there were a lot of people who were expecting more because it was the Series X and kind of the first time we're really seeing true, quote unquote, next gen gameplay on a Series X, and it didn't meet that.
and a
It didn't meet that.
platform exclusive. Like
Yeah.
I was just not impressed. I expected to be blown away, and I was hoping to be blown away because
Mm-hmm.
I want that game to be awesome. I want to have to buy an Xbox
Yeah.
to play that game. But we'll see.
We'll see. Well, guys, I think that
Right?
brings us
Don't get mad because I criticized that game. It's
Oh no,
justified.
I like Halo, but I'm not a fanboy. I ain't gonna get mad at you.
I might.
I'm just opening up a topic.
And
of
I'm in the room
discussion,
with that. I
honestly.
better watch my mouth. I could be Internet Warrior with Brent.
So that brings us to the end of the episode here this week. I want you guys each have an opportunity to kind of introduce yourselves and plug your shit, and then we'll wrap it up.
I'll go first because I have nothing to plug. I'm Dallas. Find me on Twitter. These mini games? Heels? No.
DFN Smitty? I don't, we
DFN.
have to find out again every single week.
These many games.
These mini games. I am I'm close to taking the leap of maybe streaming.
Ooh,
I like it.
yeah.
But I
Do
still
it,
need my
dude.
boy Nick to hit me up with a computer. So Nick, if you're listening, let me know what's
Nick
good with
Merckx,
that.
hit 'em up. Hit 'em up, hit 'em up.
You know, Dallas, I heard B-Runt's got you.
No,
I think when
fuck,
B-Runt
get
makes
outta
some
here,
album
dude.
sales, he's gonna hit you up with some.
You just have to play Terraria with him. You know, that's
That's
just
okay.
Terraria.
I'm down. I would definitely play that with Brent. I want to. If you're down to play it on Game Pass, I'm down to play. I know you can't. It's not cross-platform or whatever, cross-play and shit. So
I'm down to play it on Xbox again at some point.
yeah, just if you want to just give it a try at the beginning and just show
I
me
think
the
it's
ropes.
worth it a mouse and keyboard with this game, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah, based on how it controls, I think it's worth it for mouse and keyboard. It's like $10.
I don't have a computer though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna try and convince the wife. We'll see.
Nice. I
We'll
like
see.
it.
I'm out of work, so I need some, something to do, something to justify my video game playing. There, like, hey, babe, maybe I can make some money if I play all the.
I'm Matt from Rhode Island on Twitter, and I'm gonna also plug something for Dallas that he never does. We talked about before his photos.
Yeah.
His capture. You need to just start posting your backlog.
Maybe-
Like all the you have thousands.
Maybe
and
I
thousands.
just started a whole nother Twitter.
You need
account
to be
for
a
it.
virtual
Yeah, you do
photographer.
that.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll see.
Screw the PC. Just
Yeah, right.
go into that.
And as far as I go, at Average Nobody's, the Average Nobody's podcast, the podcast I do pretty regularly with my buddy Ryan and Adam, and we just kind of bullshit about everything. We talk about movies and TV a lot, but kind of covers the gamut. And also
Yeah,
the studio,
Memphis.
Vaulted
Memphis.
Podcasts. If
Yeah.
you're looking for a place to shoot your you're in Rhode Island, the Rhode Island area, you're looking for a place to live stream or shoot your podcast here. We have cameras, we have mixers, we have all the stuff you need. You just need to show up with an idea. So we're trying to get that out there as well. Vaulted Podcast. Also on Twitter.
That's sick. I need to make the jump up to Rhode Island someday.
Yeah, you do.
Fuck yes.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
Let's do it.
Got to plug your stuff, Brent.
Oh yeah. Okay. So real quick, I have a lot of stuff. I'll go through it. Me and my buddy Dan run a podcast called the Untitled PlayStation Podcast. We're trying to figure that out and get more episodes for you. Me and a couple buddies run the Uncultured Opinions podcast. I'll give you a little sneak peek. We're starting a new brand called Uncultured, and we're gonna have a few more podcasts under that umbrella, like music and business and stuff like that. So we're launching that here soon, and it's pretty hype. And then I stream at Porkchop 118 YT. Sometimes I stream with Holden, and we play Terraria. It's a fun time. And then I do little video essays and stuff on YouTube. I did one on Doom, a retrospective. I'm working on Doom 2. I want to start a new series called like Let's Talk or something where I just kind of like unfiltered talk about things. I'm going to do one on the Avengers beta this week, I think, because I have too many thoughts about it and I'm conflicted. But that's me. I'm on Twitter, Porkchop1864. Follow my buddy B Rent Music on Twitter. He's really he raps. He's like, but yeah, that's what I got.
And this is Respawn Aim Fire. If you'd like to play with us every week, get a cool new wallpaper every month, and have a say in what we play, this month it's going to be Resident Evil 4.
Boo. Should have been Assassin's Creed.
Boo.
Support us on
Should've been
Patreon,
Assassin's Creed.
patreon.com/Respawn Aim Fire. Only one tier for $1. But if that's too much, no pressure. Feel free to follow us and share your thoughts with @RespawnAimFire on Twitter or respawnaimfire@gmail.com. Thanks. And now for our usual sign-off.
Where's Game On Game Show? Chad.
I was just going to say Chad needs to be here because I don't do the usual sign-off. So, like, Chad, where's the sign-off? And that's where we're at.